Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell. Injarito, macho burrito.
Master Tang, what are you doing here?
I've come to kick ass.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Post Pixels podcast. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way real quick. Garth, if you'd like to redeem the voice, let's get it done.
Dude, I got some fucking banana bread at work today, dude. Hell yeah. My mom told me if I wait for things, like, good things will happen to me, dude. And fucking I waited for some things and I got some banana bread at work today, dude. Hell yeah. So it just goes to show that waiting for things is, like, worth it. But there's a lot of bad things in this world, dude. Like fucking skunks, dude. Hell no. Scratching your eye, but it's still fucking itchy, dude. Hell no. The fucking Cubs, dude. Hell no. Like getting paid not a lot of money, dude, for fucking working. Hell no. But banana bread at fucking work, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Banana bread, bro. At hell fucking work, dude. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So as I said, today we're gonna be doing a special podcast episode. We're gonna be joined today by game developer Luke M, talking about his brand new game, Summit Drive, showcasing it, and we got a couple of keys to give away to the game. If you're interested, enter with exclamation giveaway. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring the homie on board. Hello, Luke.
Hello.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today on this special episode of Pulse to Pixels. I just introduced you and talking about how, you've been working on this game, Summit Drive, which, when did it release? Can you remind me of the day?
Yeah, so I released the game on December 19th on a Friday. It was in like the afternoon. Um, I was actually funny thing is that I was actually going to release it at night. But then I was like, I'll just release it in the afternoon.
Nice, nice. I mean, that kind of gives people time to get home and hear about it. Maybe a little bit of circulation to happen, right? Before people talking about it. Hopefully, before it gets out there. Um, Now about the game. Before we get into more serious discussion about you and the game, how would you describe the game's vibe?
Yeah, I mean, I think so this game is it's a lot of people try to say that it's like a very cozy game at sometimes like I guess like but based on its appearance but I
Definitely it's
wouldn't call it
appearing.
necessarily I wouldn't necessarily call it that. Um, but
Uh,
it really depends on how you play. I would say that it's kind of like how would I the best way I could describe it is it's it sort of like acts as an introduction into the rage game genre. So
oh,
it is a rage game.
yeah, a little bit. I can see that. It's I don't know. I mean, it aesthetically, I can definitely. I mean, when I before I played it and we spoke briefly, I kind of told you that I made comparisons to a short hike, just based on the concept that you're climbing up a summit, right? You're going up this mountain, and you're a bird. You're a cute little bird. So like aesthetically, it and kind of the concept sounds cozy, but I can very much see it being described as a rage game, and I have a lot of rage. I've got a lot of rage, so it clicked for me. But I mean, I also kind of found it almost zen like, you know? Because like you settle into it a little bit and kind of find you have like if you're going to get through it, you somewhat kind of need to find peace with yourself and accept that you're you know you're gonna have difficulty. I think it can, overcoming that kind of stuff can kind of give you a cozy, comforting feeling of overcoming it. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think for your just for your chat so that they could understand so in Summit Drive you drive with only your mouse. And so you do not need you don't use the standard WASD keys that a lot of driving games have um now. And that's what makes it difficult because you're limited to the controls that you can use or normally use.
Right. I mean, I can definitely see that you took some inspiration, I'd say, from EnviroBear 2000, um, for like the control setup. Am I right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Cool. Well, continuing with introducing you and stuff, I dug in deep into your background, buddy, and it looks like you went to Parsons School of Design.
Yeah, I did. I got my bachelor's there. I actually graduated recently too, back in May of, well, last year, I guess, because it's 2026 now.
Congratulations. Good on you for actually committing and making it through school, which I would say is increasingly less common for a lot of people. So, good for you. What was your major?
So I majored in well, I majored in game design at Parsons. So they had well, the program is called Design and Technology. So design uh we learn design through the use of different technologies. So I've worked with like computing and like wiring and like physical hands-on like like using like stuff like Arduino and kind of like similar to like robotics a little bit. But they also have a games program there. It's quite small actually because it's pretty new, where we just focus on the design of games and not really the development of them, but just the design. So like every bit, the level, um, like just creating like documents and organizing, planning your game, stuff like that.
Neat. And in going to school with that and studying those things, like, what would you describe, kind of school, going to school and studying these things kind of shaped what you're doing now and kind of actively didn't really prepare you for what you expected things to be like.
Well, actually, like I guess what's is right now so I'll tell you about my experience there first before I get to some other things. I was gonna say,
I don't know. I'm not in your mind.
um, so um, sorry, I just completely got lost in thought.
That's okay. I do that constantly. If you want to cycle back around to that question, we can come back to it if you kind of are processing things. That's okay. Or do you want me to try rephrasing the question?
Disconnect. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's totally fine. I think I disconnected for a few seconds, so you cut off for me.
Oh, okay. Well, just like what did going to school and majoring in this kind of shape your yeah, I do have that effect fan vote. What did going to school for this and majoring in this kind of shape and prepare you for actually executing the release of this game versus, you know, it kind of, a misalignment of expectations? Do you think that it did a good job preparing you, or did you kind of have to learn a lot? Because I know in the game industry, a lot of people are self taught. Um, I'm curious as to whether or not going to school really helped a lot with this, or that there was a misalignment in expectations from what you learned in going to school for this particular area of study.
So yeah, so I think a lot of people have like this perception of going to like university to study making games as like, oh yeah, I'll go into this program and I will actually learn to create games. But you are very right on that. A lot of game developers are self-taught, and it's because I feel like when you're, especially for me, well, I was in Parsons. Uh, going to school did help in some degree um in terms of like self motivation for creating things. Like it allowed me to also set schedules for like how long a deadline is, and I think that is so important when making games, like setting deadlines and trying to get something done at a certain time. And because I would make games per week while I was in that program. So
That's
like I've
awesome.
taken classes where we prototype like finished, like I could not finished but like playable games
Right.
per every week. And I remember I would like because I had other classes at the time, I didn't really have much time to really
Flesh it out.
focus on, yeah, so I would set like literally I would make that one game, which would be my assignment, um in one day, just in my room
That's
on a
cool.
Saturday.
Like maybe
So
just a short, simple game executing a new technique or something that you were learning about at that time.
yeah, like a lot of my games on my itch.io, um they were made in like a day for my class. I
Right.
think like
Oh,
50% of the games on there are
cool.
from my university.
And I actually do want to cycle back around to your HIO page in a moment. But before we get to that, I'd like to know what some of your earliest creative influences are.
My earliest, I guess like in terms of like games that I've played, I was very into like my introduction into video games was kind of late because I grew up in like a pretty non gamey household, like not a lot of my family members play games, and I'm the only one really. And so like my introduction to games started with mobile games actually.
Oh,
and
okay.
then gradually moved into console games like the Nintendo DS was my first fortunately my first ever console that I've gotten. I remember it was like my birthday, and
Hell yeah.
my friend's mom bought it for me, and I got Mario Kart DS. That was the very first game I played, and so yeah, I would play that every day,
Is
really.
that your
So I
favorite
guess you
DS
could
game?
well, not exactly. I guess my favorite Nintendo DS game would probably be Kid Icarus Uprising. And I
Ooh.
would always talk about this, that it's my favorite, and I really wish they make a remake.
I actually never played any of the Kid Icarus games, but they seem pretty
It's
cool, and it's like a long-lasting legacy. Uh, like, I mean, what the first one I think was an NES title, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah, but I played it on the 3DS, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they had like co-op and like a campaign, and no, not co-op, a multiplayer, like it was like a team deathmatch sort of style of combat. And
Oh, really?
um yeah, I remember pretty vividly. But anyways, it's definitely a very highly underrated game, I'd say. And I really wish they make a Switch port, like a remake with a Switch version of the game. I would definitely play that if that came out. But unfortunately, um they're not doing that.
I
But I
mean, I
hope
don't.
so, maybe in the future.
Oh, yeah, one can hope. I mean, but I don't think we've seen kind of a console release of Kid Icarus since NES, maybe SNES, to my knowledge, but I don't know. Could be wrong. It's not exactly like one of the more popular
Yeah,
Nintendo
no,
IPs.
definitely not. But I really enjoyed that game when I played.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I'm gonna be trying to do a bit more retro gaming this year, and I'm looking at maybe streaming some DS games and stuff. I never got into DS myself. I was deeply into GBA when I was younger. I'd like sneak out in high school and hide in the bathroom to like play Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and stuff, you know. But yeah, I didn't get into DS, but it's got a great catalog of games, and I'll have to keep what was it, Kid Icarus Uprising? You said right? I have to keep
Yeah,
that in mind.
for the
3DS.
3DS.
Yeah, baby. I'll keep that in mind. You I think you mentioned on one of your social media profiles that you're very into kind of more relaxed or narrative games, which I find interesting when you know, we're talking about Summit Drive, have people kind of looking at it and thinking it's a cozy game. I can see that you do like that, even if it is a rage game. But what draws you to more relaxed or narrative games? What are some of your favorite games? Like, do you like walking simulators such as like Edith Finch or Gone Home? How would you define kind of more relaxed design?
Well, I think like um I think it has to do a lot about like um when I first got into game development, uh the way we were taught was that like or the way we were encouraged to do is I made a lot of walking simulators while I was just starting, and I think that's pretty common, I think I'd say.
Mhm.
When you first get into game development, you start with like walking simulators, and I think that's just because
Mechanically less
it's just
complex.
mechanically, yeah, exactly, less complex. It's just easier to do, and then throw a bit of narrative and lore into that, and it's just like it's a game. And and I think like I played a few, uh, like What Remains of Edith Finch, of course, I played that,
So
and I
good.
played Before Your Eyes,
That's
and
also really good. Did you cry?
No, I did not. But
Oh my God, do you even have a heart, bro?
I almost teared up, almost when I played, but uh,
What
but that
about
was a really good. That's
Spiritfarer?
Spiritfarer. I actually do have it. I never finished it because when I was starting to play it, I was working on Summit Drive, and so I should definitely come back to that game.
Priorities, right?
Um, but yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that game as well.
I really
Um,
love that one. There were moments that it kind of dragged out a little bit, but the art style, the narrative is really heartwarming, very, very deep character development for all of the characters. It's a deeply emotional story. I think it's cool, and it's something that's kind of just relatable to most people because it's dealing with, you know, something that everybody has to deal with at some point in their life, you know? So
yeah, yeah.
definitely when you get back to it, I'd be curious what your thoughts are on that game from a game designer's perspective. But yeah, let's cycle back around to we you mentioned the games on your HIO and stuff. This is your first game on Steam, your first like commercial published game, right? And you're
Yeah,
publishing
yeah.
it under um your name, Luke Kim,
Just
right?
me.
I mean, that's in the title.
Yeah.
Summit Drive, a game by Luke Kim. The store page says publisher and developer, Luke Kim. You mentioned your HIO though, which I believe you go under the alias Lonely Sea, right?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah,
And
yeah. It was
then
on my
you're
itch.io and on Steam. It's that as well. But when you go on the Steam page, it'll just say my name. But when you
right.
click on it, it'll say Lonely Sea.
And then your YouTube, I think, is Healerific. So what compelled you with putting this game out under your name, and why do you have these kind of different aliases across different platforms?
So, well, actually, going with putting your name on game, there's a very good talk by a GDC talk about putting your name on your game, and I think that's like very important, especially if you're a solo developer.
Right.
A lot of common habit is like, and it happens to a lot of solo developers, and where they try to put like a studio name just so
Hmm.
that it feels like bit more like
Professional or something.
business like
Right.
professional like. But putting your name is it can be professional in some way. And
Sure.
also it helps, especially when you put your game on festivals and stuff. It gets your name out there so that when you make your next game, people will know that, oh yeah, that's the dude that made this game, instead of, oh, that's the studio, and they don't know who the person is. But in some cases it's fine if you want to stay anonymous. But in my case, I wanted to, because I'm solo developer, so I want to just put my name out,
Yeah.
and say that I made this game. And it really helped because like you know, when I got nominated for certain festivals and stuff, uh, you know, you'll notice that a lot of these other games that were nominated as well, they go under like like a fake studio name, and or I don't know if it's fake, but just
Yeah.
like a studio name, and no one knows who made the game,
Right.
and so
It kind
it
of takes away from your professional credibility, right?
exactly. So
Okay.
that when you make your next game, you can say that, oh, it was made by me again.
All right. I
My
like
next
that.
game actually it's going to have my name on there. It's not going to have like I'm not going to like make a studio and put my it's always going to have my name, all my
Oh,
future games.
okay. So going forward, you kind of want to drop Elarific and Lonely Sea, at least in terms of kind of your public commercial release. You want to do everything you tend to kind of embody that personal aspect of
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna drop Hellorific or the. I'm probably gonna keep the Lonely Sea, but in on Steam you'll see that like it'll just say my name and until you click on the creator hub, which I think is fine.
Yeah,
And like on trailers and stuff, especially like when I send trailers
a
to
Luke
press,
Kim game.
yeah, it's just gonna say my name. It's not gonna say Lonely Sea. But a little background into why my YouTube is not, Lonely Sea or Luke Kim. It goes way back because I used to make videos for I didn't you always make like the kind of videos I made now. Back then I would make a lot of like montages for this game called Realm of the Mad God. And
Oh,
my
it's like
surname was
your
I went by
surname was what?
Hellorific at that time.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I just didn't feel like changing it because I was already I think YouTube when you reach a certain amount of subscribers, you get certain perks. And so if I changed my name, it would kind of all the people that would find my channel would it would be kind of like lost in the void
Right.
from the YouTube's algorithm. So I just felt like there was no need to really change that.
Cool, cool. So this is right, your first commercial game. When would you say the project stopped kind of feeling like a student experiment and like, you know, felt real? Did it the weight of that kind of hit you?
I think it's like so after I graduated, so this game was actually my university thesis. So it
Oh,
was my final project when I finished my last year of college. And it looked a lot different than this. Like this whole main menu looked like completely different. Um and I think I've shown it like a little bit, like small snippets of what it used to look like on my social media
hmm
pages. But Um, but then going out of after graduating, like I think a lot of students, they tend to not really love their projects that they make.
right.
Going out of university, they kind of get like bored of it and they move on to some other stuff.
I mean, I think that goes
Uh,
for a lot of creative ventures, though. I mean, me as a content creator and a streamer, and there are I mean, sometimes there's, especially I used to work as an editor, and I'll say, like, I got really into editing, but like, there gets to be a point where I'm like, man, I don't even think this is very good. And I have to decide, like, am I just gonna put this out there, you know, and just
mhm.
see how it does, or like hate on myself, all day? And I think more often than not, you kind of just you gotta call it and let the world see, how it's gonna be received. And I'd say like some of the things that I've made personally, um, that I kind of am fed up with and the most tired of and don't think is some of my best work is more often than not the things that are received like more favorably by the public, which is really frustrating as a creator. But I mean, yeah, when you spend day in and day out working on something, you can get kind of jaded a little bit, when you say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um,
What is the
it was quite a rewarding feeling. Oh,
continue?
I think I cut out. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that like it was quite rewarding to see because at the end of university we have like this huge show where we have invite people to come over to the campus and play these games. And my game had a pretty long line, I'm not gonna lie. And even after graduating, um I ended up getting nominated for finalist as a finalist for the Game Development World Champs and that's sort of
Woo!
the
Congrats, dude.
right after that was like thank you, thank you. So right after that was like that moment of realization that hey, people actually love this game. Like people actually enjoy playing it. I could
Hell
be then and that's already like a sign that I could keep I could keep improving it and keep working on it. And that's like that motivation that kind of led to me pushing towards my first commercial release.
nice. I mean, I'm curious what sort of emotional weight, because getting that kind of feedback had to feel really, really good, right? But what emotional weight of putting your work out there publicly did you feel there was? Before you started getting all this positive feedback, would you describe it as difficult? Was it easy for you? Like, what kind of weight did that carry for you?
I think well, I think I wasn't really stressed about putting especially putting Summit Drive to the world. I That wasn't really stressful because I've experienced something like that before during my sophomore year of college. Um, I think as anyone that is trying to go to university to make games should not just really focus on making the games in your school, but you should definitely like really try and make stuff on your own, because that was what helped me, and that is what helped me to learn better and faster and and kind of shaped me to who I am right now. And so during my sophomore year, I remember I made like this horror game. It's canceled now, but I made a horror game and it kind of blew up a little bit. Some YouTubers played it, and there was like this YouTuber named Daz Games. He made a let's play on the horror game, and I think it has like 700,000 views or something like
Oh,
that.
damn.
And and yeah, that was like my first introduction to like the social media space within like having people play your games. And I remember when I first put it out, I didn't expect that to happen because it's a free game on itch,
Mhm.
and it was just something I was testing. And I noticed that like when people play, the first few people who played encountered so many bugs. Like there it was just the worst feeling ever for me. And I mean, at the time, I was just starting game development, and that in itself was pretty stressful for me. And I think like over time, I started to kind of learn. It was also it was a learning experience because it kind of helped me to understand the things I need to prepare for before I put a game out for people.
Right. And that kind of the just dealing with those feelings of criticism and seeing errors in your work being out there publicly for people to just,
Yeah.
yeah, that can be difficult. I can see that. So let's talk
I
a
mean,
bit about Summit Drive, and the origin of the idea. Like, where you said this was your thesis.
oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What brought about the concept for you?
So my thesis was um it was about a failure. I was studying like I was researching like the meaning of failure in games, so like games that try to make us fail. And rage games kind of classify within
Yeah.
that range, that
Getting
area.
over it.
And there were like I'm sure like there's some moments in games like you fight a boss and you just can't beat it, and like for example like something like in Elden Ring, or
Oh
it's
yeah.
just impossible. So like it just keeps making it feel like you're just you're a failure. But no, like so my game sort of like kind of was derived around that area. And that's kind of where I started when I was making the game. um and I showed like clips of it. Like originally the game started out, I wanted to be like this. It was always about driving to the top of the mountain.
Hmm.
That was the main goal when I first was building this game. um And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a driving game. Yeah, it needs to be a driving game to get to Top Mountain. Everything about making this game was quite smooth, and I think it's because I didn't really think about all these other like all these other functions that could be in your, like, for example, like gas, or for example like trying to think uh uh like getting out of your car and building like on the car and stuff like that. It was always about one goal, and that's kind of what helped me. But then the next step was like how what the game looked like. What's the perspective of the screen, the player, of the player, the perspective of the player, and what they're looking at.
Right.
And I started out with like this top-down isometric game. You would
Oh,
just drive up a mountain. That's how it started out as. But I didn't really like it. It felt like I wanted players to feel more immersed, and that just kind of takes away from that. And so,
right.
you know, I then was like, let's make it first person. I threw the player in, and that wasn't until I got introduced to. I was recommended the game EnviroBear 2000,
Yeah.
and then I played that, and I was like, actually, like, and I did some research, and there's not a lot of games that are like commercially sold that are quite similar to that game. And so I thought if I could really lean into this this feeling, like the same vibe as EnviroBear 2000,
Yeah.
and
With
while still maintaining that goal of getting to the top of this mountain summit,
hmm
I felt like I could have a pretty solid for structure for a game.
and EnviroBear is so goofy with like all the stuff going on, the fish, and it's just such a quirky control scheme, which I think is the biggest similarity to what you've got going on with your game. Um, Really cool stuff, though. So, with early prototypes, you said you started out isometric. Do you think did you shift to first person relatively early on? How many kind of different prototypes do you think that you built, and what changed the most, other than the switch from isometric to first person?
I've built. I think I've built like, I can't even count. I think probably like at least 20 different prototypes just to get to now.
Wow.
Um and they were all like kind of like they all had like different, like they're all different. They were all experimenting with one component of the mechanic. And I think I remember like, so going from the isometric to the first person, that changed sort of like, I think that's what started everything, because I remember back then when I made that decision, I also, one of the reasons why I wanted to make it about going up the mountain was because I was heavily inspired by a moment in my lifetime where I was at the Bahamas, and I remember we were going on this bus shuttle, and we were going on like the side of a mountain, and I remember that feeling like where like there's nothing blocking you from like falling off the edge. And so all you see through the on your window on like your left side or right side,
Deep
is
drop.
just the drop, nothing else.
Yeah.
And so that feeling was what I wanted players to feel when I in this game. And so the isometric view, you just see too much of it. You can see the drop, but like
Not
when
as
you when
impactful.
exactly. Once you switch it to first person, it's like you feel like you're the one. You feel like you're driving the car. You feel like, you know, every mistake you make could lead to your doom.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of why I made the switch, and I think that was probably the best decision I've ever made going forward. And that's sort of what shaped the game is what today. And I was gonna say like and then like these prototypes, like I each of them were kind of structured for mechanic. For like, for example, like the hand mechanic, like the
hmm
bird with the hand, didn't come in until like probably my 14th prototype.
hate
because
that
I was
bird.
like being able to control your hands and interact with the wheel. That took me like a month at least to just to
Oh
get down,
wow.
maybe more than a month. Um, but that in itself was its own prototype, and yeah, I remember like I went from like collecting gas cans, like collect 7 gas cans and you win, sort of prototype,
Okay.
while you drive around. Um, and then I started building maps like slowly. Like I started from top bottom, so like the snow level all the way down to the grass level, just to experiment with terrain. So yeah,
Nice.
that's
What
pretty
do you
much it.
think stayed the most consistent during all of that development period?
I think the goal stayed consistent.
Well, you did
Um,
just describe
yeah,
gas canisters and then, kind of later making it uh, you know,
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So yeah, while the gas canisters is was part of one of the prototypes, it was sort of like there's a term in video games called like the mouse and cheese, or I forgot what it's called, where the mouse like kind of picks up the cheese droppings and like follows the path, and that was like the sort of the experiment that I was doing. So you in the overall you are trying to get like somewhere higher above ground
right.
while trying to collect these gas cans, and those gas cans are just there to like kind of help you navigate your direction.
Nice. Kind of as a little sort of checkpoint type thing as a guide,
pretty
like you're on the right path, baby.
pretty much, yeah, actually. And yeah, that was like probably one of the prototypes, like halfway, or probably like pretty early into the development.
Cool, cool. So, you mentioned, we were talking a bit about EnviroBear, right? Like how early on? Oh, yikes! Says like the gas station an RV there yet? Yeah, but I'd imagine you probably started development of this before the release of a game like RV there yet, right?
Yeah, I was working on I was working on like I think it was like around like I was about to release it, or maybe it was like around where like I released my demo. Yeah, I think it was like a month after I released my demo was when RV There Yet came out or something like that. But I was still working on the game while RV There Yet was out, and I mean, that didn't really, I didn't really pay much attention to that, because I love RV There Yet. It's a great game,
I
with
still
playing with
haven't
your
played
friends.
it. I'll have to get around to it. It seems like a really fun, goofy co-op game,
For sure. Yeah.
though. Um, but I wanted to ask,
But yeah.
so like we were talking about EnviroBear, right? And like, did a friend introduce that to you, to talk to you about it, like while you were working? When did that come around? How much do you think you kind of drew inspiration from that? I mean, was that game the catalyst for the shift to the control scheme and first person that you have now, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually my professor at the time who's
Ooh,
now my
good professor.
mentor. He introduced me to that game. He recommended a bunch of other games like Desert Bus and a few others.
Dude, your professor knew it. I can see why
Yeah,
he's a professor. He knows ball.
he's really he's probably one of the best game designers that I know. Um and
Nice.
yeah, he's also a judge for the IGF.
Oh, very
And yeah.
cool.
So yeah.
Do you maintain contact with him? Have you talked
Oh
to him
yeah.
about releasing this game? Is he so
Oh.
proud of you?
Yeah, yeah, he knows. He talks about it with his students a lot um
It's awesome.
right
That's
now.
got to be really. I don't know. I mean, like, satisfying for you because he's somebody that you learned a lot from, right? And kind of getting that kind of, I don't know, continued encouragement from him, and then kind of knowing that he talks about you in a positive light to his students and stuff has to feel like a really positive step for you in your game development journey.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it made me you know, it made me happy to see that he actually appreciate he really appreciates the work that I put into.
Hell yeah. Hell
He's
yeah,
always
baby.
he's always a serious looking dude. That's why like he's always like looks
Very
serious and like
stoic.
um or like I don't know like but anyways, yeah, I mean it's quite rewarding to see that he appreciates the work.
Good for you, man. I made the comparison to a short hike. Do you? Do you feel like there's any sort of kind of similarities? Did you take any inspiration from that? Or is that just me kind of putting my own fucking shit into it?
No, I was inspired by Short Hike. It's actually in the description on Steam. It's I
Ah,
wrote EnviroBear 2000
I can't
with
even
the
read.
aesthetics of a short hike. Um,
It's actually a well established fact on my streams that I
but
can't read.
I'm so you're not the only one that sees the comparison, and so I'm kind of glad for that people see the bird and go like, oh yeah, short hike looks cool.
Yeah,
Short hike driving bus. Are we there yet? No, I mean like I've heard a bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's like a blend between EnviroBear 2000, Getting Over It, and A Short Hike.
hell yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I like I said, I tried to do research. Maybe I did read that, and that's like where I took that inspiration, like put that in, but I don't remember reading it on
It's
the
fine.
store page. Like I just see the bird and the concept of like going up the mountain, and it seems clear as day that it's like, definitely uh it seems like it's a clear inspiration. She says the bird is cool. The bird is the coolest. Were there any other games that you kind of took inspiration from, particularly for Summit Drive, that haven't been mentioned yet?
Yeah, I mean, I have actually. Oh, I should definitely send you the documentation page. I have like a bunch of research of different
What the
games that I was.
the GDD
Yeah.
or like what?
Um. No, it's like a Notion page with all like just literally everything from start to finish.
Did you develop it
And
before making the game? Did you make a GDD?
no, I didn't really make a GDD. It was
Oh,
sort of like a journal for
okay.
every single update I make, every single thing I do, every prototype,
So a little
every
more
place I go.
open-ended development.
Exactly. And it's anyone can go on it and see it. Like it's just for anyone that's curious about the process.
That's really cool for you to kind of publicly put that out there, for other aspiring developers and stuff to be able to learn. That's something I do with my content creation and streaming and everything. There are a lot of people out there that like to gatekeep info or things, and kind of keep their secrets and stuff because they're afraid that it's going to potentially hurt them. Someone's going to steal their success and, ride off their momentum. And, I I believe that putting that info out there is admirable and respectable, and it shows confidence in yourself too, to be able to be open and vulnerable like that and show the whole process to people. I think it's really cool.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, it's very important.
hell yeah, good for you, dude. So this is I think it's developed yeah, it's cheat. Well, yeah, it is solely played with a mouse. It is Cheese is commenting on the control scheme. Did you think about integrating any other sort of control setups? You did mention kind of coming up with this immersive uh, kind of control setup early on. Did you experiment with other control schemes?
So not really actually, but I've tried when I first when I made my first or second prototype. um I was trying to like create a control scheme that utilizes like both the keyboard and mouse, but not like using the WASD keys
Hmm.
to drive, but more so like you have to hold certain keys on your keyboard so that you can use so that you can use parts of your car. And that was like the original control scheme. So for example, if I hold down E, I can use the steering wheel. If I hold down R, I could use the brakes or something
Oh,
like that. But over time, like when I first had people play it, they found it very confusing.
yeah, it
And
doesn't
even
seem
I
as
was,
intuitive.
yeah, even I was like, thinking like, oh yeah, this just doesn't make sense. And then and 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 so I took that as like very valuable feedback. And I was like, what if we just like not use the keyboard at all? Like, because when especially when controlling, and I think that was a really good decision because by allowing, and I decided like using only the mouse. Like, why can't I just use just the mouse? Why can't I just lean back on my chair and just not use my have an extra hand where I can do something else while
I
while
mean,
driving?
I think I told you, I got into the game and played it a bit, before, in preparation for this stream. And I just got real cozy, toked up a little bit, and was just leaning back in my chair, just working my way up the mountain. It was like really, as you describe it as a rage game, it's still a very just kind of it's comfortable, just kind of getting back and settling into being in the car.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I think a lot of players they tend to just play it because of the driving. It just feels smooth and like they just like driving around places and exploring, and they don't really care about the fact that it is a race game.
Yeah,
But
I not at all, dude. I mean, I had moments where I was like, "What the fuck?" But I was telling you earlier, I kind of just settled into, I'm gonna do it. Just be like it really taught me to be patient and just enjoy the vibes, listen to the music, which I do want to talk about the music in a little bit, but we'll get to that. But it was just such a vibe. We got a question from Cheese. She would like to know, how did you approach the game's aesthetic, pixel style, the colors, the animations, or humor, if any?
so yeah, going back to like the shore hike. I know shore hike has like a pixelation,
Hmm.
like a shader over or filter over their game. And I was inspired by that, but also I've been experimenting a lot with the pixel shader. So like a lot of my other games, they have like some of my other games they have pixel shaders. And I just love the aesthetic of that, and so I thought it'd be nice to bring it over into this game, especially because like I'm not very talented when it comes to modeling. And some of the models in the game are just like stuff I bought from the asset store and like kind of reconfigured and changed a little bit. Uh, but I think a good thing about having a pixel shader is that it sort of hides like the kind of like the low poly looking look of, or the what's the word, like less detailed models in your game, and it sort of helps you able to blend, like especially because this game has pixel art and 3D stuff.
Yeah,
The pixel shader sort of helps blend those two together so that it feels almost seamless. And
I
that's sort of why I chose to go with this aesthetic, because first of all, it really like shortens the production cycle, so it helps me like I don't really need to like put all this time and effort into like one singular model. I can just use this filter over this, this game, and it would help like people see that everything sort of matches together, and
Right,
blends
right.
well.
That's really cool. That's some nice insight, and kind of the way that you kind of came onto that, as well as utilizing it for its strengths to kind of develop a stronger tone, to kind of work with your strengths and weaknesses. So that's really cool. And Yikes brought up a really cool point. He says it seems like a fun game to race your friends. Have you ever considered adding leaderboards or a multiplayer mode?
I have considered co-op. I have considered it for sure, especially now. Like now this year, I think we're gonna see a lot of co-op games. Um,
Right.
they call it friend swap. I hate the word. I think like just co-op friends, games you can play with your
Yeah,
friends. I think
dude.
I think like you're gonna see a lot of those kind of games coming out in 2026 this year.
Hmm.
I'm pretty confident in that. And so, yeah, I have had considered making a co-op version of Summit Drive, but
Would
I
it
made a
be a
promise to
separate
myself.
release or an
Yeah,
update?
it would definitely be a separate release, because the thing about multiplayer games is that it's hard to
Slap.
build, just slap it in. Like it's hard to just throw it in. If you're going to make a multiplayer game, you have to start it as a multiplayer game.
Right, you can't like just hack net code in there and just hope that it's gonna fucking work and stuff. You have to account for collisions and a whole bunch of other
Exactly.
shit. And it's like, you're basically gonna be fucked if you're gonna be redesigning for every aspect of the game. It would be easier to just start over a fresh release than add that. You could potentially add leaderboards into the existing build though, right?
Yeah, that is actually something I'm thinking about adding, because
Cool.
there's like a time
Achievement.
there's this cool plugin that one of my professors, the same professor that recommended EnviroBear, who created this plugin for Unity that allows people to record certain statistics in their games, and it like kind of transfers all the data into a Google Sheets
That's
or
neat,
Excel sheet.
dude.
So, I'm kind of thinking about adding that maybe
Would it
in the
being
future.
like if something like that's implemented in the game, does it potentially run the risk of like security vulnerabilities and stuff, plugging it into like a Google Sheets or something as opposed to locally or Steam's databases or something?
Well, not necessarily putting into Google Sheets. I was just talking about maybe
That
configuring
kind of
how it
functionality.
works. Yeah, and then seeing how I could like be able to display the score
Right.
to the public.
That's
But yeah,
cool.
that's something I'm considering.
So the
But I'm not making any promises though.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. We won't hold it against you. If it's like, but you said you might do it, dude. What the hell? What the hell? No, we're not gonna fucking. Don't worry about it, dude. If you do, cool. But like, it's already a really fun release, I think. I did want to ask you. So you developed it on Unity. I wanted to talk a little bit about different game engines and stuff. When I was younger, I worked a little bit with Unreal Engine myself, like Unreal Engine 2, like way back in the day.
wow.
I got into Game Maker a little bit, and then obviously I didn't keep up with my game design journey. I might someday go back to it. Oh, Yikes is gonna officially hold it against you. Don't Yikes is a don't worry. But eh, I would say that Unity really kind of upped its game, what, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and became more prolific in the commercial developer space, not just mobile games, but like across the board. And maybe in the last year or so, CEOs kind of been dropping the ball a little bit, but there's been this shift towards, we're not seeing, we don't see much of Godot at all. And there's definitely a shift towards more of Unreal Engine. Epic has kind of made a lot of uh, kind of enticing incentives to utilize Unreal. But I also personally believe that there is something to be said about developing your own in-house engine, whether or not it's a personal, solo indie developer like you or a team, that works on and develops and improves and knows it inside and out. That's one of the main problems with the shift towards UE5 is that people don't know the ins and outs of UE5 fully. So game optimization is not as good as it once was in a lot of games, not every game, obviously. I mean, but it is an in house engine with something like Fortnite, and that is obviously much better optimized when they know, their own engine. What compelled you to choose Unity, and why did it fit this project?
Well, when I first got into well, actually, when I first got into university, we used Unity as like the base software of choice
Right.
for everyone. And that was like kind of what I stuck with the most, and I really tried to like learn it um at the time and now. But the reason why I decided to choose that engine for Summit Drive was just because I knew the engine the most. I've tried a bunch of other engines in the past, such as like when I was before I got to university, I was using RPG Maker,
Hmm.
and Game Maker Studio,
Which
and
both
I
have their
was
pros and cons.
exactly
Definitely
like
a lot of limitations, but prototyping something in Game Maker is going to be way quicker than Unity. But then you have a whole set of limitations with Game Maker too, right?
yeah, yeah. So I was like, it was just to learn the basics of just making something that is playable, and that's
Well,
kind of where I started with until I got to university, started using Unity, and I been using it ever since. And so I just stuck with it because that's the software I know the most. And if I decide to switch to a different software, I would be kind of lost because I would have to like try to learn it again from bottom up.
oh,
And
100%.
And yeah, I mean, I've tried Godot. I've also tried Unreal Engine. I've taken like some classes on that, so I
Hmm.
have used Unreal Engine before, and I've made things on Unreal Engine. I made like this Five Nights at Freddy's fan game, um, using Unreal Engine. It's not available to public. It was just for fun and just for one of my classes, and
Right.
it's funny. It was the theme for that game was spooky, and so I made like a I don't know if you've ever played the game. Um, there's a really popular Five Nights at Freddy's fan game called Joy of Creation. I kind of made like a copy of that really for that class, and so and and yeah, but so I think like this is a topic that I think a lot of developers get asked
Sure.
about software of choice
Yeah.
when they make games.
I mean,
I
hmm?
And I feel like it's just really about the kind of project and your skill set with like what you can do, and can you finish the game with this software? I think that's like kind of a question everyone should be asking themselves,
Sure.
especially new developers. Like, maybe you don't know the software, maybe you never learned it.
Right.
You never learned to never learned to use any of the softwares, and you're just trying to find the best one. And I think you need to try it all and just try to like see which one would work best with the kind of game that you're imagining.
I mean, I think what you described, just kind of being comfortable with it, is a big thing to harken back to my discussion of being a creator and streamer earlier, there's other editing software out there, right? I myself, I learned back in the day when I was in school, I was learning on Adobe Suite, and then over time, I had a lot of ethical uh, issues with Adobe as a company, and kind of chose to step away from it, and ended up kind of falling into um, Vegas, right? And I really like Vegas because it's kind of a similar workflow. But in recent years, I've found DaVinci Resolve to be really appealing. But jumping over and learning kind of a completely different, because it has a completely different workflow, even though they both essentially do the same things. Being able
Yeah.
to switch over impacts my workflow so heavily, and having to kind of learn how to utilize it again, that I'm not sure it's worth, you know, jumping ship when I can do similar things with the software that I use, to have it take 2, 3, 4 times as long, you know. So being comfortable with it, I think, speaks volumes as to why you would wanna be able to do that. Um, she's had a question for you. How did you decide where the line between challenging and punishing was?
Challenging and mm, I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you said just now? I'm sorry.
All
I
right.
lost.
Cheese was asking, how did you decide where the line between it being just challenging and it maybe being punishing, like too much? How did you find a balance between that?
Um, yeah, I think it had to do a lot with how I was prototyping and testing the game.
Did you play test a
It's,
lot then?
oh yeah, like every week I would play test. Um, every week we would play test our games. Even now, like I'm out of college, every week I have like three or few like people playing the game to try to sort of test out.
Oh yeah.
I have like a selected group of people that are doing. I can just send the copy of the game and they just test it and give me feedback.
Well, you can
Um,
always reach out to me too, and the community here. I'm sure there are several people in the community that would love to give feedback and support, whether it's on Summit Drive, which we have a couple keys that you've been kind enough to give us to give away to the community, or
oh yeah, yeah.
future games that you're working on as well. If you need input, like I spent some time working in the industry. I used to organize playtests for Ubisoft, when I was working in China. I love this kind of stuff. So reach out anytime if you want to do that. But it sounds like it was just kind of a constant balancing act of kind of getting feedback and slowly adjusting up until the point of release.
Yeah, that too. And as well as like how I um designed each level. So like I split the level into several parts because I wanted there to be one singular map, or I
Right.
guess in this case there's two maps, but like I wanted the map to be fairly large where you can just drive on the terrain and around. But I think what's hard is like, especially like when it comes to deciding what is difficult and what isn't, or what is punishing. um I started like I think I mentioned it earlier in this podcast. When I developed the game, I started or when I developed the terrain of the game, I started from the top, as if I was at the top of the mountain first,
Oh.
not from the bottom, but from the top, because the top is going to be the hardest part of the game. It's
Hmm.
going to be, where the terrain gets harder to drive on, or some of the roads are bumpy and
Or
like
like
it's
visibility.
snowy,
I noticed kind of like,
it's
whoa,
foggy.
dude. Yeah.
So like that's where I started, because if I can make that, if that part is difficult enough, then it sets a bar for like a limit for how difficult the rest of the terrains should be.
Nice. And
And that's kind of how I was able to develop a map that wasn't too punishing, but like still engaging and have moments of where there's like a peaceful like driving moment as well.
right, right. Yeah, definitely. I'd say it starts off peaceful. And hold on, Cheese was asking, did the game start initially different? And we actually talked a little bit about that, Cheese, different prototyping. If you want to check out the VOD later, but he started as surprisingly, it's an isometric game, and then shifted to the first person. But it went through a few phases, but pretty cool
There, there's
stuff.
actually there's actually a prototype that's available. There's a pretty early prototype available on my itch.io. I just kept
Neat.
it there. So like anyone's like free to play it. It's a browser game, but you would have to make it full screen.
Right.
And I did that because that was the prototype I sent to Bennett Foddy.
Whoa, you sent
Um
it to Bennett Foddy? The legend.
yeah, and he played it. So it's because I live in New York City, or I went to school in New York City, and
Mm-hmm.
my professor, he's really good friends with Bennett, and
Oh, so
he
cool.
thought it'd be nice if he could kind of link me with Bennett, um and be able to share my work with him so that I can get some feedback. And so yeah, I was able to do that, and he played it, and he said it was fun. There were a few things that he kind of like question he kind not question he kind of like hinted on, like just to
Right.
give me feedback, and I just took that as like really good advice, and I just kept improving it with those feedbacks.
I'm freaking out a little, dude. I like kind of idolize Bennett Foddy, dude. Like I've been a fan since way back with like Quap and stuff, you know. And he even did some input on one of my favorite games, Universal Paperclips. I don't know if you've done that. He did some of the programming for an aspect. I don't want to spoil the game for people who haven't played it, but like I've got a lot of respect. So I'm like kind of geeking out a little bit just knowing that you were like getting some feedback from Bennett Body, dude. That's so cool, man. That
I
and
have to
like I
say
think
the
really valuable too, you know, because he's kind of, an icon in the industry in a lot of regards. I've been playing Baby Steps, which he did with what Gabe Calvizo, I think, the
uh,
guy that did Ape Out, and one other person. But I really like Baby Steps a lot.
I haven't played that game yet, but
Oh
I've
my
seen a
god,
lot of
dude! I'll
videos
I'll
on
I'll
it.
stream it for you a little bit over on the Discord at some point. I know you were playing some Getting Over It
Oh
a
yeah.
little while back. That one I also have a lot of love for, but still can't fucking beat, dude. And I have friends that speed run that game, which I don't understand, but it's he's basically pioneered an entire genre, which take it or leave it. I definitely imagine some people hate those games, but I think there's a lot to be said about them.
Yeah, I still have to send him a copy of this game. I promised that I would, and I completely forgot. But I think he probably forgot too because he was working on baby steps, so he was like crunching on baby steps at the
Yeah,
time. I'm
yeah.
sure like Devolver was like pushing him to like really finish the game.
Oh, I'm sure. But Devolver's one of the publishers I've got the most respect for. They really have a good ear to the ground. They give a lot of creative freedom to their developers too, and find some talented developers. But I'm sure the pressure was on to actually get something workable out there. So yeah, so that's cool. Um, Cheese says, "How do you take criticism? I know that something like a game takes so much work, time, and love, and it could be hard or tricky to hear negative comments if there had been any." We also did touch a little bit on that, but I am curious how you take direct criticism or potentially negative feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I think I never like I think a lot of people freak out when you get like negative feedback from somebody who play your game. Of course I've gotten negative feedback before, um, many times
What do
for
you
this
say?
game.
Get shit on, you fucker. I know my product's good.
But I mean, something that like you should, as a developer, you should always know is like ask good questions from
Yeah,
always when you have people play your game. Like, don't just say like, "Oh, what do you think about the game?" That's like probably the worst question you could ever ask when like that's like bottom line. You shouldn't probably ask that question. I think you should probably ask like, "What kind of game do you think this is?" Really, and that's like sort of I want to see the perspective of someone of the player, what they think the game is,
right.
not. And so when it comes to negative feedback, I take it as like something to learn. Because sometimes like there are times where like it is actually like something that could kind of interfere with the game. Like um for example like pixelation in my game. I think one of the
Hmm.
feedback was that like at the time there was no way to adjust pixelation or turn it off
Hmm.
or whatever, and people were saying like, "Oh, I get so dizzy when I play it. I think it makes me like my eyes hurt, stuff like that." And so, I took that. I mean, that's probably like the least negative, like probably the not
Yeah.
as negative of feedback. But there were some where like, like the car kept getting stuck in the terrain, and it still does. And so those are things that I kind of solved using like certain checkpoints and stuff like that in the game. But a lot of players there are some players that complain about it. There are some, but then the majority of players don't really care as much. Um, but there will be times where like players will always want what's easy. I feel like when you present a game to people, they will always want what's easy for them, and that's like almost 90% of the time. And so there are times where if you keep accepting the player's feedback, it could actually ruin your game. And so
Mhm.
the balance between accepting a feedback and then kind of denying one, I think is so important. Like being able to see like, is this really necessary? Is this feedback going to be useful to me? And those are things that I think should be stuff that people should be thinking about when having people play test your game.
Cool, cool, cool. I think that's pretty valuable. And it's like a really positive way to kind of view it without kind of internalizing and kind of taking it as like oh, you know, this is I've made garbage. It's looking at it in a way that's constructive and being able to build on it. And I think that that's a really useful, sort of way to frame and contextualize what people are saying about your game without letting it get you down and turn your game into something better because of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So going back to the game engine stuff, I wanted to ask a couple more questions about Unity. What I mentioned, you know, the discourse both from, consumers that are playing games that often are like, UE5 slop, which I don't think is explicitly a engine problem, but it's, the shift to UE5 and the lack of optimization on people learning a new engine and everything. But there's the developer side of things and the consumer side of things to consider. And as a developer, I'm curious what your thoughts on all the engine discourse surrounding Unity, um, Unreal Engine, Godot, or any of that going on, and people's discussion about things such as optimization.
I think I don't know if it's an optimization problem like the Unreal Engine slop, and I think it's just how you make the game. Really, it comes down to like there are some Unreal. I know there's a bunch of Unreal Engine games that you could make it. There's some that doesn't even look like Unreal Engine, and it is um based on like how like the cartoony the character looks or like what kind of assets you're using, but the texture and the shader that you're using in Unreal, and you can really and I've used Unreal, so I can kind of say it through experience with using the engine, is that you could really create different looking games with Unreal. Like, and so it really comes down to like how developers on Unreal are utilizing assets and what kind of game that they're like. Are they really focusing on the mechanic or are they focusing on the aesthetic?
Right. Right. Huh. Interesting. And what about, oh, real quick, going back to the feedback skits, wanted to know what your most valuable feedback you got from anyone regarding Summit Drive was. Like, was that the feedback you got from Bennett Foddy, or was it one of your play testers?
I think the greatest feedback was actually from Bennett. I will have to say, like, especially like when creating, I think it helps me when when I create a game where the goal is to get is what there's one goal and it's to get from point A to point B, especially in the context of like a terrain. So like for example, like I described it to one of my friends as well because he's making a capture the flag game, and I told him like, so one of the feedback that Bennett gave me was that for his benefit for baby steps, he when he was designing the level for baby steps, he started out by making like a terrain. It was like 256 meter by like 65 or something something like small, pretty small terrain from that is like kind of like a rectangular, and you start shaping the terrain, and you from one corner to the other or one point to the other, going from that long I can't even I'm bad at describing things. I'm so sorry. but like but for example, like just making small terrains and
Yeah.
then start creating your level, start small, like starting your level small and just seeing like how players like kind of reach the end of the rectangle. And that's like sort of one of the advices that Bennett gave me, and I've been using that method ever since, like especially with Summit Drive. That's what I did. I like divided it into four different like rectangles, and I just started building up the level from each one, and each one would be a different terrain structure or like a
Right.
biome. And that really helped me, and that was something that I think Bennett did with baby steps before he started building out this whole like terrain and all.
So what you're describing is kind of start small and make something that works and is kind of, you dial it in and balance it and then make it something that's scalable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
That's exactly it.
And shout out to Fanboat. We just got somebody curious, an impulse about your game. Fanboat, make sure to leave a positive review if you dig the game, dude. It really helps out, with him getting his career started. Helps push that stuff on Steam's page. So thank you, Fanboat, for going out and doing that, buddy. Um,
Thank you.
Hell yeah. With the engine talk, do you have any favorite uses of in-house developed engines? I think a legendary one is like Roller Coaster Tycoon, which is insane. I think he built it all like, what was it on the I can't even remember, dude, but it's like an insane engine. And the optimization of that's really cool. One of my personal favorite games is Talos Principle with Crow Team, a Croatian development team behind Serious Sam. But I they shifted from their in-house engine, which was ludicrously well optimized to with the sequel, Talos Principle 2, being Unreal Engine 5. And you can see that like they were still wrapping their head around the engine shift, and optimizing it. And while the sequel beautiful and awesome and does a lot of things right, unbelievably demanding in comparison to the first game. Now, that being said, they are like what, more than 10 years apart in release date, I think. So, I mean, it's expected that obviously a newer game is going to be more demanding. But even the first game wasn't remotely as demanding for as good as it looked at the time of release. So, I'm curious if you have any, you know, engines that you think are notable or cool.
Well, I think there are two games where I really really like if we're talking like custom made engines and stuff like that. Um I really love like I think Rain World is definitely up there for me
Oh,
and Animal Well. Those two are two games that I really respect for the use of like a custom engine.
I still need
I think
to
like
to
really
play Animal Well.
like games like those like you really need a custom. I think like there's a reason why you need a custom engine,
Right.
and you can clearly see that when you play the game.
Yeah,
Both games are quite
100%.
similar actually,
Really? I'll have
I'd
to
say.
give Animal Well. I think I will really love Animal Well. I have to give it a go at some point. I love the concept of it. Rain World has kind of I still haven't beat it. It's kind of broke me, but I love the aesthetic, the world, kind of the way it tells a story without words. It's a really remarkable game, and there's nothing else out there really quite like it. So, I mean, I understand what you mean with it kind of needing to do what it does, develop its own engine with like the I mean, particularly with the different animals and the AI mechanics surrounding them and the different movement types and stuff to be able to build something that specializes around that use. I guess, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to talk to you a bit about the music in Summit Drive though, because did eat right when you which we're gonna play a bit of the game in a bit here, but first time I booted the game up just in the title screen and I was like, oh man, this is this is a vibe, dude. What was your thought process behind the music and its kind of purpose in the game? Would you describe music as a central uh aspect of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think music has this well, when I first released the demo, I think the demo had only one music. And it was that jazz, like that jazz music
Mm-hmm.
that plays like when you play the game, when you load into a map, it will play that same jazz music. And that was the only music that was in the game at the time. And I was using it as sort of this like mechanism to kind of what's the word like it was sort of like I
Mood setting.
well, it's supposed to like sort of distract players from
Oh.
or make them feel worse about each fall they make in the game. So like because the music's so relaxing, but the music is relaxing,
Oh,
but
like a
the vibe,
contrast.
yes, oh that was the word. Yeah, I'm sorry. The contrast like between what's calm and your experience playing the game. And so it makes every fall you make in the game more like
Impact.
excruciatingly like painful because all
Ah,
you hear is the calm music.
that's
But
funny.
like going into like this new like the new released build, um I wanted a bit something different, like not just like the jazz, but I felt like it could use a little bit more charm and a little brighten up the mood a little bit more. And so I had one of my friends make the soundtrack for Summit Drive. It's like I think it's
Hell
like
yeah.
7 pieces or something. Like seven
So it
pieces
is
total.
all custom compositions for the game with its original soundtrack.
Yeah, except for the initial jazz, I
Right.
was it's 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 copyright free, so like but I took it into like a software and I sort of like tweaked the music and made it sound different.
Okay. That's
But
really cool.
but yeah.
What was huh?
I decided to keep it because in the demo it had that music and I thought it'd be kind of uh weird to like remove it, especially when it's been so like embedded into players' heads. So
It already
so
felt
I kept
like kind of a kind of part of the soul of the game.
exactly it like belonged with the game almost.
Right.
So
And a big aspect of the music in the game is the radio station, right? Which took me a while to realize. I didn't realize it at first, but like I'd be like, "Oh, I got to switch up the mood." What when, we talked about prototyping the game and different iterations and stuff. What was the origin of the radio station concept and when did that come into play?
so the radio was always in the game. I think like in like on my older prototypes I had like a radio like just on the front of the car, but it was never really usable. It was just an aesthetic thing. It was just visually there.
Right.
But I wanted to have a radio that was interactable. And it wasn't until like I think after the demo and then before when I released the game was when I implemented it. And I think like that was definitely needed, especially
Mhm.
because I wanted to add more music and I didn't want the music to just randomly change like based on like how high you are in certain areas that you are driving on. And I but so because I wanted players to be able to interact with the radio and switch the music.
Right. What will like so you described it as, having that initial track and then working with a friend, which if you want to promote your friend or anything, you can get me that info later and I'll link it up, you know, on the page and stuff. But
Yeah,
hmm?
he's he doesn't really make music for games. He's very into like rap and
Oh,
R&B.
cool. I like
And
R&B and rap. Good shit.
and so his music is very his own personal music is very different from the music you'll hear in Summit Drive. And
Interesting.
he's a friend of mine from college. We both graduated. We were both in the same program.
Nice.
But making music is is just a hobby for him, and I just wanted to give him the experience of making music for games,
That's cool.
because I think that's we were both in the games program, and I think it could be nice for his portfolio.
Sure. I mean, that's really cool. I think he did a great job. That's kind of what I wanted to lead into, like curating versus composing. And so it's kind of like he more leaned into like you asking him to compose and you curating this content, but like how would you describe that, versus, if you had decided to say go out and find a bunch of tracks like you initially were doing, having him, compose the score. What would you describe the differences between those and how that potentially adds to a game or this game specifically?
I think the music really brings out the kind of game that Summit Drive is, and I think that's clearly shown because of how asked him like I when I was presenting the game to him and um what kind of music I was looking for. He sort of like was able to quickly understand the sort of vibe that I was trying to go with, like this like
Hmm.
fall autumn jazz, fall autumn like rhythm. type beat, and he was very into making beats as well. And so I think that sort of like kind of helped. And he has like pretty lengthy experience with using FL Studio,
Mm-hmm.
which is the software he uses to make music. And so I thought it'd be, it's always good to have someone else making music for you instead of like going online and finding music, because
Right.
especially for content creators, I think like they are always cautious about like the music in games because of
Royalties,
copyright.
copyright. Yeah.
And so because of that, I was like, that was also played a part in that I wanted to have its own original soundtrack, um, where, no one has to really worry about copyright issues. And also like having an original soundtrack really helps with like the way a game is presented as well.
Yeah, like the individuality, and as an indie developer, like kind of showcasing, ownership of your product, right?
Yeah, I'm working on adding a soundtrack um on Steam, adding the
Woo.
soundtrack on Steam
Cool,
as
cool. I
well.
wanted to ask about that. I had a question that actually ties into something that Cheese was asking, but it was how different stations affect the pacing and the mood. And Cheese wanted to know, like, kind of how you decide on the vibe of the music you want. Like, is this something that you knew initially, or kind of worked in over time while working with your friend?
Well, I think one of the biggest like things that we did was we took inspiration from other existing soundtracks from other games, and I sent him like a list of like a playlist of a bunch of like a couple of video game musics that the game could really resemble with the most. And I think like we listened to a lot of Short Hike, the soundtrack from Short Hike. We listened to um like Pez and like a few other games. And but then like there was the idea that like I wanted there would be fast music, there'd be slow music, um and so far like, and yeah, I mean, I I think the thing in music is that like the thing I was trying to do was that like um there would be like kind of like this there would be jazz music, and each music has its own like kind of has like gives off its own like certain it gives off a certain emotion to players, really. Like they're all different. There's like, and there are two jazz pieces in the game, but both of them are quite different. Like one of them is like slower, and then the other one's like faster paced. And that was like that was really intentional, because the because I wanted players to be able to interact with the radio and choose what music they want, and have a different give off a different emotion and feeling while they're driving
Nice.
the car.
Yeah, I definitely, when I was playing, had moments where it's like, I gotta switch up the mood here. Like this is not the mood for this moment. And it
Yeah.
felt, I don't know, as a player, it kind of gave it kind of really put me in the moment, felt more immersive, to kind of be able to take that kind of ownership of the mood,
Yeah, for sure.
So what have player react? I mean, I'm describing my reaction. What have other player reactions been to the music choices so far?
I think people like the music. Me personally, I think it's because I've heard it so many times. It's like you start to
Yeah.
get kind of used to the music, and you go like, really, is that good? Um,
Well, I mean,
well,
yeah,
that's something that like I really respect, and I really thank Thomas, my friend that made the music for, and which is I put his name on the that's why like whenever I work with someone with music in any of my games, I will 100% have their name as well on the trailers when I send it out to press and stuff like that,
well,
because I want them to shine as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, talking about that and your overexposure maybe to it and everything, right? And it kind of being new and fresh to people that are just discovering the game. How did you, in working with it, try to find a balance between repetition versus comfort?
Mm,
Because you said there's what, like 7 tracks in the game, and maybe, a playthrough, at least a first playthrough would be maybe around 45 minutes to an hour. Let's say an hour, give or take, right? At least of the
yeah,
first
yeah.
map or so. And you're definitely going to hear tracks, more than once during that time. Although you do have an insane achievement of what, doing it in like less than 10 minutes or
Hmm.
I don't even want to talk about that right now. But we're talking about music. But around an hour, you're gonna be hearing stuff over multiple times, right? So what was kind of your mindset for balancing that? I'll try, Philly. We'll
Well,
try today.
and I never wanted there to be like a lot of music in the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
like
I-
GTA radio stations or something,
and I
right?
think it also has to do with like it doesn't need to have like people actually asked me to like do like have a narrator as well like on the radio like stuff like that, but I never
Oh, like
added.
getting over it, where like
Yeah,
then
like
it's chiming in with little bits as you go along and stuff. You didn't want to do that.
yeah, like I think a lot of games like that they always do that. I think it's just so that because they want to like be like make their game like Bennett's game. Um, don't don't take my word, but that's what I think.
Sure.
But for me, like I wanted less music because well, the music plays on a loop, but also
Yeah.
again, like the music is sort of one of like there's obstacles in the terrain, but the music also plays a role in that it infuriates the player as well. Um,
Right.
like over time, you start to get kind of
Oh, like
it plays
tired or
in with
fed
your
up of
anger.
it. Yeah, yeah. You're
Exactly.
like, stop playing this song. Like, I get it. I get it. Okay, that's really
Or like in
smart.
the jazz piece, at the climax, if you fall right at the climax of the music, like it makes it even more painful. And so like that's kind of why I didn't really want. And the more music you have, the more confusing like or the more you can't really connect to like the actual experience because you get so focused on like the variety of music rather than like what the music is.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Um, all right. But before we're gonna be doing the giveaway in a few minutes here. Before we get into that, I got a couple more questions. Schizo wants to know if there's any secrets or Easter eggs hidden in the game, or would you prefer to leave that at no comment for players to discover on their own?
Well, not really any secrets in the game right now, but I am working on an update right now. And there will be like I will hide some stuff, like just not gonna tell you, but I will
Yeah.
hide some stuff around. And
Okay.
but
That's
there is one thing though, in I can show you later. When I show you the in engine,
sure.
um, there is like a hidden room under the map. It's
Oh,
a
fancy.
it's like a small back rooms like room.
Okay, that's kind of cool. And talking about updates and stuff, and we talked about a potential multiplayer, you know, thing in the future, which, as you said, no promises. But Cheese wants to know if there's any interest of a DLC or anything extra. Like we discussed, there only being the 2 maps to it right now. Would you, if it's popular, people are really liking it? Do you have more ideas for other maps or things you'd add to in the game in the future?
Mm, I am still thinking about a third map. Um, but I don't know if I will make a third map anytime soon because I'm now working on my second game. So we'll see.
Whoa, which I would love to touch on that a little bit later in the stream. But as I mentioned, you have been generous enough to donate a couple of keys to the game. So, and we just got a couple more people entering the giveaway. So, reminder to everybody, if you haven't entered, do exclamation giveaway in the chat, and we are about to do a giveaway. Are you excited to have new players playing the game? You know, and what kind of things do you what words would you like to give to new players?
No, I'm always excited for new players whenever I especially like new streamers that pick it up as well. Like I'm always like on Twitch and I try to like see who's playing, and sometimes I'll see someone playing and I'll hop into their streams, and that's kind of really why I made this game, because I love watching people play games. And it's even better if they're playing something that you make. It just feels rewarding. And even for you guys, whoever wins this giveaway or whoever gets the game, um I just know that going into this game, um, don't expect the game to be like this magical drive. Don't expect that. It's an experience that is, both rewarding, but also there's this challenge as well. And so I just take note of that, I think.
Cool, cool. All right, we're gonna go to the giveaway wheel real quick. Ooh, here we go, baby. All right, reminder: anyone else who hasn't entered, go ahead and enter. Um, we don't have Luke up here. Let me add you real quick if I can. Well, well. Okay, we got you up on the giveaway. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. DJ, did you want to enter? You want the challenge of frustration? Hell yeah, villain. All right, let's get a little music while we do this. Here we go. All right. Worry about you, but W game. We've got 2 keys to give away. Let's see who gets them, baby. I think we got 2, right? Am I imagining that?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go, baby. Good luck, folks. The bird has a heart in its face. Villain does love it. Oh shit! Speaking of villain, dude, congratulations, villain. Let's go, baby. Don't forget to leave a review on Homie's Game. Put the word out. And who's gonna win the second one? Let's go. He manifested. Yikes forever! Alright, congrats to Yikes and Villain. I'm curious to hear what y'all think about the game, and don't forget, Luke is in our server. So, let him know personally what you think of the game. Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing. Alright, let's get back to the discussion of the game, and in a little bit we're going to be showcasing some behind the scenes as well as playing a little bit of the game. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, so in in terms of the game and releasing it, dude, chatted a couple of times. Hell yeah, baby. He is awesome. He is awesome. He's a sweetheart. With releasing the game, I wanted to talk about, a little bit about your expectations versus the reality, now that it's been released. Was there any sort of, surprises or anything with that? Has it been as expected?
Well, I never I never expected like a lot from this game. I think a lot of and so like and also was really I really rushed into
You
development
really
of it.
what?
I'd say the release of the game
Could you
and
repeat
like
that? You're breaking
really
up a
rushed into it.
little.
So like I kind of rushed into the development of the game like and the release. Did you get that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so like I guess a lot of my plan was like I wanted to release it during the winter sale on
Right.
Steam and but I wasn't able to because I had to push the deadline
Hmm.
on the 19th when the sale starts on the 18th. And and so I feel like, some part of me feels like that sort of made an impact. Like if it was on the winter sale, maybe it would have done better. Maybe and like that sort of doubt came is still in me. But
Yeah.
it will be on it will be on the spring sale. I can
Right.
promise you that. But
Launch window is
um
important, though, don't you think? Like getting that exposure and stuff on it. I mean, I would imagine it, you saying that weighs on you still. Like it might be something that you continue to think about, but that's something you can learn from and apply on your next release too, right? Kind of figuring
yeah,
out that
yeah.
window.
I think also like being able to usually a lot like you would have to like kind of like give it a few more months before you release it so that you could accumulate more wish lists and people can see it more. But I just released it, kind of like did a blind release,
Right. I've heard that
and
getting higher wish lists before you release, like, really, really impacts that initial release window and exposure of the game.
yeah, yeah. But I noticed that like when I released the game, I started to get more wish lists.
Nice. I mean, that's from
So
exposure too, right? Like you've had some streamers play it and stuff, right? So I'd imagine it's just gotten more eyes on it now that it's actually out there, right?
yeah, and like IGN put a trailer out
Yeah,
on
that's
as
cool.
well.
I'm sure that made you feel pretty proud being able to see your game on a major publication.
Yeah, yeah.
So what marketing do you find actually worked really well? Did you see
I think
more
YouTube.
wish lists after the IGN thing, or was it, word of mouth? What do you think has been really working well for you?
I think YouTube and festivals helped a bit. Um, I've done like TikTok. I've tried TikTok. I don't post often, but I think you found me through TikTok.
I found you through TikTok.
And um, I've tried everything. I used Blue Sky when it
Blue
first came
Sky.
out. Um, I also use X or Twitter. Um,
X, formerly known as Twitter. It's so dumb. It's so
yeah, but like I try Reddit as well. So I use everything really. I use everything I could except for Instagram. And and yeah, I mean like I think the majority of the wish list came from YouTube and YouTube, TikTok and festivals that I joined
nice. I
really.
uh I personally found like some of my content and stuff to occasionally get really good exposure through some posts on Reddit, where it's just like it took off on Reddit and led to more exposure to YouTube that kind of snowballed into a lot more exposure on my content. So I think you doing kind of that wide net is really, really, a good idea. I think it's something that no matter what you're doing in this day and age, it's kind of something you have to do. You said you don't use Instagram though. Why do you not like Instagram?
Um I just don't like I just stopped using it actually.
Okay,
Just
that's
it's just for
yeah.
it's just because I don't use it. And that's kind of why I
Checks
don't use
out.
it. But I mean, I know people on Instagram like there are people on Instagram that make videos on my game
Hmm.
and help and also promote it as well.
Nice.
But yeah, but I try to like not really use Instagram too much.
Yeah. I don't use it too much myself either. I make some posts on there and stuff, but I'm terrible about checking it and stuff. Just not one that
Same,
clicked
yeah,
for me. So I that resonates with me. Some people
same
love it.
here.
Some people love it. But yeah, if it doesn't click, it doesn't click, right? What
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
pointless to you though? Like is there anything that you attempted in the marketing, and the exposure for the release of it, that you worked on that kind of felt had no impact?
I think Twitter X has no much of an impact. A lot of the people that find my game usually come from Blue Sky and itch.io as well.
Nice.
Because because I had the game on itch and I had like a few people following my itch.io because of some of my past games.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, and also YouTube was pretty big. Like I made like a devlog on my game and it did okay. People watched it, people enjoyed it, and it did help with wish list. That's like kind of how when I first started, I made the video. I started going when I went to Next Fest, I started with like 3 to 400 wish lists at the start just from YouTube. So so that may kind of helped.
Huh. What was your experience at Next Fest like?
Um it was just like it wasn't like any at all like life changing, I'd say. Like it was just like getting your game up on Steam. It was on the front page for like a day or so.
Neat.
On the all adventure category. So that really helped with the boost in the wish
Sure.
list. So it really bumped my 300 wish list to like 980 or something like that.
Ooh,
The
that's
next fest,
cool.
and then everything after just like everything after up to like I think right now I'm like at I think around like the past 3,000 or so.
Hell yeah.
But everything after is like just from just posting on social media and just my and also like the IGN trailers helped a lot, and
Yeah.
then I also was featured on No Clip uh
Oh,
as well on their second channel,
hell
and yeah.
yeah. Now that it's out there and everything, right? I would imagine you're getting some reviews coming in on Steam, maybe other platforms and stuff. I'd like to possibly put out a video review at some point, and I'll try to put a review up on Steam as well. I think you mentioned that you gifted me a key. I think Steam doesn't track gifted keys. Um,
Yeah, it doesn't, but Steam DB does.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's still, useful feedback, I would imagine, though. But regardless of that, I'm curious, if you've been getting reviews and feedback now that it's out there, that kind of, is there any review or feedback that you've gotten now that you've put the game out there that has really kind of stuck with you?
Um well, I think so far I think all the reviews were pretty positive. They really had anything to say about anything like negative to say about the game, which I'm happy for. Like but there were a lot of feedback about the pixelation again, like when I especially now like because like the main menu in the game doesn't have a pixelation like a way to like adjust it so that when you load into the game it feels all pixelated,
Right.
so you can't really like adjust it at the start. But that will be different now because I'm going to update that
Hmm.
pretty
Hmm.
soon actually. So like feedback like that, like small feedback like that, usually come into my like discussion section. in
Sure.
Steam. And so people like create like a new discussion under my game and will write something, write some feedback, and that's also a thing that people can do, players can do. And it's always I always read it, I always check it, I comment back at times.
Ooh, that's good. I think people probably really like that kind of, outreach directly from a dev like that. Do you think since this is all fresh, do you kind of obsessively check that stuff?
Uh, not really, but I
Good.
try to.
Proud of you. Because, like, there's only so much, you can do, right? Um,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
like you talked about primarily the pixelization and adjustment like that, but overall on just releases in general and game dev, how has the player response changed your perspective, if at all, you know about game
I
dev in general?
I love players. I love players that, especially the ones that, I think I have like there's like a relationship between the developer and the player. I feel like the player just like will say like, I wish you could add this. Well, this is cool. This is great. And like and then but that's it. And but the developer needs to like sort of like, kind of like you gotta like push the player to ask more and more and more. And
Sure.
that's and I really have my respect towards like people who played this game and people who have the game. And it's always it brings me joy when I watch when I get online and I see like someone playing the game. Like it just makes me happy. It's the best feeling I could ever have, really. When I see
Awesome.
people playing it.
Yeah.
um
uh Like, would you say that there's kind of a balance between getting that kind of feedback and updating a game? Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I wish this dev had just updated this game more if it only had a." But is it like there's something to be said about a game being like complete? Like not everything needs to be No Man's Sky getting huge updates for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, I don't really imagine myself to continually update Summit Drive at a certain point, because I mean at a certain point as a developer I can't always rely on one single game like this, especially
Yeah.
because it's the goal is quite simple, and it's pretty it's like like technical wise and mechanical wise, it's like pretty simple and short, and it's a short experience. That's like kind of what I wanted players to get. It would be like a short, sweet experience of just being able to re-experience the kind of gameplay that EnviroBear left on players, but never brought to the commercial world.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
that's like kind of why I wanted to build the game and want what players to think as well. And going forward, like I do plan on I am working on another game, and I will continue to make more games, and I'm gonna try to make more games quickly. And I can't really, I think at a certain point I will eventually, like, this game will become like a finished product, and
Mhm.
then I will, it would help like boost the visibility of my next game. And that was sort of my plan, that I'll just keep putting out new games that are like pretty simple in scope, but are kind of like similar almost. Like my next game is going to be quite a little similar to this game, but it won't be about failure and like rage and stuff like that. Of course not.
Right. All right. We talked about wanting to show some like behind the scenes stuff, so I'm gonna switch over to another scene here, and
Oh boy.
yeah, and let you showcase a little bit of what you won't see.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to be transparent with like my game and development. I have a Discord server for my game, and there I
Did you
will always
post
send
that
like
in my server on the thing? Would you can definitely promote your server. Like I said,
Yeah,
I respect the transparency, and I think we can all support each other. So
I think I did.
we'll double check.
Pretty
We'll
sure.
look into it later. Make sure that people can get in there if they want to. But I'm curious about, if you want to show early builds or some cut mechanics, concept art, or, different visual iteration stuff, that you could showcase some of.
Well, I can show you what it looks like in the map. I can show you the map.
Cool. And the
Um,
hidden room. The hidden room.
oh yeah, the hidden room. It's my screen showing right now.
It is. We got it up.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so this is the main menu. It's this is the this is where all the magic happens, the start the game. Like this is what it
Oh,
looks
the
like. It looks like
menu's like an actual in like a 3D object.
yeah, yeah. So it's like a 2D image in the 3D world. So
That's
I just made it 2D, so it's like that. Um, like you get your music and the main menu is it's just a copy of the oh what the heck so far. Yeah, it's just a copy of the map and this is the car. I can move around, I can look around. And this small screen is limited. Let me yeah. Something new that I am working on, I will put out the update at a certain point once I get everything in. Oh yeah, something I was talking about was that like some of the comments was like pixelation. Also that P
yeah.
needs to be lowercase, but um yeah, like you can adjust your pixelation here. Make it really really pixelation. And there's just like something funny about this was that because I have really terrible eyesight, and this is kind of like what I see without my glasses. So, and give that experience to players for fun. It's all for fun. Like really, it's like about the challenge. Like if you can beat it with this all the way low, like I'm my hands are up. I'm full respect.
Yeah, I think we were talking a little bit about you adding a photo mode to the game, and I think you had a pixel adjustment on the photo mode already, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll show you that in a bit. These are the hats. So like right now there's only 5 right now. I will probably add more, but this is something that will be new to the game later down
Nice.
the road.
Or to
You can
that.
wear a fedora or crown. And then something that I will be working on is a new loading. This sequence feels a little bit too boring, so
Mhm.
I will pizzazz it a little bit more later down the road.
Cool.
So this is what it looks like in game. You control your hand, you steer the steering wheel, you click the windshield wipers, but the in the map, it looks sort of like this. This is like the map. That's the car. The bird is actually like a 2D sprite. Like this is what the bird looks like.
Cute.
Yeah. It's a 2D sprite with like animations on it and yeah. And about the photo mode, I did add that. It's like you can come out of your car, you
Tab,
can
right?
you
Yeah.
can take some pictures. Yeah, it's tab. You can take some nice pictures like this of the mountain, trees. Yeah. The map itself is quite large. This one is the second map actually, because this one was part of the release build. Let me show you the secret. I think I should show you the secret.
Yeah.
Actually, first I should show you this. I should show you this. Like in the game, actually, do we want spoilers? Like, does the chat want spoilers or no? It's like, are they fine with like seeing? I'm sure it's fine because there are people that played it already. This train section here, something about this, I really enjoyed making this part. in the game where two trains come from opposite directions. But something funny is that the thing about being a developer is that things players don't will be locked into their perspective and they won't know what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
And that's like a design thing in also like a lot of horror games. I don't know if you played like the game PT. Um, it was like
Sadly,
it
no.
was this discontinued horror game, but there's a design concept
Kojima!
where like the hallways are like L-shaped a lot in PT, and that's because like whatever because one you'll be walking on one side of the hallway, but on the other side you won't know what's going on.
Right.
And so that's like sort of like what I'm going with is that the train here they go around the mountain and then they go into the mountain. And something funny is that like this train here, it goes off the side of the mountain like that, and it goes into the train and just it lands directly back on the rail.
Because the players aren't going to see that. But it's
They're
just
not
your
gonna
way
see
of
it.
your workaround for making it work.
Yeah. If it works, it works, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think stuff like that, like the jank in that is like what makes it fun to show. Let's see, like the beef, this one. Or I guess I don't really need to, I can just go in here, actually. So this is the first map. And I wanted to show you there's a small thing right here called backrooms. I don't know if you can see it. But
Okay.
if I turn that on, there's a tiny room in here. There's a tiny backrooms room in here.
Why did you put this in here? Because no one's going to ever see this, right?
No one's gonna ever see this. Yeah,
Why is it
it's just
in here?
it's just here because I wanted people like because they're the way I never designed the game to have like invisible colliders. So like when players escape the map or like you know when they go in like a lot of games they have invisible colliders,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like a habit that I think a lot of developers should not fall into. And one of my alternative was that if you fall off the map, you would end up into this room, the back rooms, and you would have to find the elevator and go into the elevator, and you will be sent back to the world.
But you ended up not including that.
No, I didn't include
But
it.
you left the
But
back rooms in there for shits and giggles.
yeah, yep, all for fun,
Love
all for
it.
fun.
Love it. Thanks for sharing that with us. Since there'd be no other way
Yeah,
we would ever be able to
there's
see
like
it.
some rocks underneath the ground here, so that I could easily use it and place it anywhere in the map as well. So I can like individually select the map and place it somewhere. Um, yeah. So that's what the map looks like from like above. Oh, I guess it's like really foggy, but
Yeah. But cool.
it's pretty like the designing the map is like probably the hardest thing, especially in like a Fadian Rage game, because you gotta think about like how when a player falls off the cliff, how to like keep them at a specific spot where they can get back up
Right.
instead of just falling all the way down to the very beginning again. And I think like here, I think something I did a really good job on was this area of the map right here,
With the
where you
jump
would drive up this side of the mountain.
and that
But if you
fucking
fall, you would
bird.
end up landing back into this small pit. I call this the pit, like the first pit, and you'll find yourself ending up here a lot. And then like here, especially like here, if you miss the ramp here, you'll end up falling back at the bridge. So stuff
Right.
like that, like
I
and then
do
even
think
here,
you
like
did a
if you
great
fall
job
from
with
here.
that.
So like coming down this road, going around here, going under the bridge, and then coming back to the same location right here. And so if you fall here, you'll end up back at the very like at the bridge again. So stuff like that, like designing and making sure that players don't like just fall like fall all the way down to like here, like making sure they don't do that doesn't happen, except for like moments like here where if you do fall off the right side, you'll end up at the very beginning. But overall, like making sure that players don't like fall down too much is something that I was trying to I had to really think about.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean like there's two maps. It's only the rocks come down from there. The rocks will roll down.
Yeah, the
This
rocks
is
are
another
really cool. I
section more.
commented on your TikTok video where you posted about I was the first time I saw them, it made me feel really nervous. But after a couple of times, I was just like, dude, like they don't scare me anymore, But like the first time I saw them, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
oh, your screen disappeared from stream.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, did
What?
you stop sharing?
No? Did it stop?
Oh, there it is. That was weird. We're good. We're good, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, about the music, like see like for music, I think music plays a big role in this game. So you got this jazz music, but you're able to switch it to like something that's more. This is another jazz piece, and they're both like different. One is calmer like this, and then one is like faster. So you get a different like emotion when you drive.
Yeah.
Every different kind of music you choose. It's like this one feels like yeah, I'm going on this drive, that kind of feeling, and then this one's going like a yeah, I'm just going on a relaxing drive. But then you got like music like here.
I love that one. I love that track.
Is there anything specific that anyone wants to see um, while I'm in the? Or I guess like I don't want to show you the ending.
I mean, is there any subtle details a player might uh miss that you want to showcase right here? Do you have some concept art that you could show us? Or like any regrets with, this development or your proudest moments?
I think like um, so this map used to look very different back then. It looks like I had to do a lot of changes, especially with the terrain. I wish I could show you like a picture of what it used to look like. Let me find it. Oh yeah, by the way, I think if you can see, I think you guys can see this. This is the Notion page with everything, like from the start to finish. So I can show you a little bit what it used to look like. Like the very first prototype, this is what it used to look like.
Oh, came a long way.
Yeah, that's what it used to look like back then.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to link to that page. I have eyes, I can see. Yes. Jeez.
Yeah.
Neat. How long ago was that?
It's like
Looks like September.
yeah, there's a date on here. So yeah, last
Nice.
year or 2 years ago, or I guess because 2026.
Oh yeah,
So
2026.
it's still early, so
Yeah,
I'd
so
say
yeah, it's
last
about a
year.
year ago, a little over a year. So from concept to release, about a year. That's not bad, man.
And then this one. This was the one I added I think the hand. Oh yeah, the hand. See the hand in the car. The hand on the car driving around. So that's what it used to look like. So gas canisters and stuff like that. The game was really different back then.
Do you have playable releases of those prototypes up there?
Oh yeah, I do. But
That's
I'm not gonna
neat.
play it because the music is I
Right.
think isn't copyright free.
Yeah, I'm just
So
curious, people wanted to check it out.
yeah, this is
O-
my itch.io page, and anyone's free to play anything. It's where is it? Can I remove it? There's no way. I guess I did remove it. Shame on me. There we go. That's the prototype. This.
Neat. I'll definitely have to check that out. I think it would be fun, as we're getting towards kind of the tail end of the stream. I think it'd be fun, maybe either to get you to attempt to run or have me do it and commentate over it a little bit. Whichever one you're more interested in. If you'd like to do commentary and answer questions while I play and watch, um, or me to
You
ask
know what?
questions, huh?
You know what? Actually, for some reason I cannot I guess I cannot allow the public to see this prototype because the itch.io doesn't let me. Because
What?
when I don't know. I'll try to find a way and I'll try to send you the version.
We could maybe have a spot on my Discord to share it if people want to check it out and discuss it, or on your Discord server or something if you're interested in that, or if people are interested.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hell yeah! All right, are you? I would say it'd be cool to move the next section. Unless you have some concept art from early in the game you want to show, it'd be cool if we maybe stream some of the gameplay and whether or not you want to watch me play or I watch you play. It might be a little cleaner if I play just for the view of the game, but other than that, I'm open to either. But if you have some concept art, now would be a good time to show it if you want to showcase some stuff. Oh, and Cheese would like to ask, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color?
Hmm.
Hmm. It's a good question. It changes every year.
Oh, got a
Uh
yearly color. Do you know what 2026's color is yet?
I like I like white. That's my favorite color.
Okay,
I think
okay.
white. Yeah.
I mean, white technically
Pretty
encompasses
base,
the
pretty
whole
base.
spectrum.
I last year I liked the color pink.
Cool. All right, let's get into some gameplay. Would you rather play and showcase the game while we ask you some questions, or do you want to watch me play while we talk about it and kind of see
Yeah, I think
how bad
I think I prefer watching you play.
I
I think
am?
it'd be
All
better.
right, do you want to pull up the stream, or do you want me to screen share over the Discord call, or what?
Yeah, you can stream. You can stream it over the Discord call.
Okay, okay. We're gonna move
Does that mean
over.
I can I end the screen sharing
Yeah,
then?
you can end the screen sharing.
Okay, okay.
Thank you for sharing that. We're gonna move over to the game room, baby. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna switch it to Summit Drive. Bam. Oh, and apparently you have 5 followers on Twitch with 3 people actively watching the game. And now that I'm streaming it, That's gonna be 15 people watching your game on Twitch right now. He would have a delay on Twitch for gameplay. That's true. Sure. Everybody, is the game audio okay? Can you hear the beautiful music? Is it too loud? Is it okay? Isn't this title track so cool? I really, really like this. So you were saying that this main menu's in the whole ass 3D world is how you set this up. That's really neat. And you have a link to your Discord right here. Go ahead and join your Discord, I guess. You're ready to join it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a 3D world. The small box is it's all 3D.
I want to
And your eyes
adjust.
can follow your cursor. It's always...
Adjusting your volume a little bit.
Oh, I think it's because I was far away from the mic. It's better now.
It's cool. I was just adjusting the Discord audio, so because the game audio, you know. 10-minute run? I doubt it, dude. We'll try. I've only completed the first try. I haven't tried going home. I'd like to complete both, but we'll go for the 10-minute run, villain. I think that's the achievement, right? Completed in 10 minutes. Or
7 minutes for the first drive, 10 minutes for the second drive.
oh my god, 7 minutes. Here we go, guys. Here we go. So I'll say, like, getting into it, dude, you know, it feels cozy right off the bat right here, you know, and not going or anything. But, I didn't realize you could shift gears until a little bit later. Oh, no!
Yeah, I think that was kind of like part of the selling point of Sonic Drive, the gear, being able to shift gears.
And I
Especially
like
using only your mouse.
that you kind of can turn the wheel and slow down and keep the turn going.
Yeah, yeah.
Did a really good job with the controls. Was it kind of like this, or did you have to tweak that control setup a lot over the development?
A lot. I had to back then it felt very it felt almost too loose, and so I had to really tweak and refine the mechanic a lot. And then everything else that came after, like the map, the terrain, is just built around the controls.
Oh.
So it made it, once I got all the controls in, I think it was a lot easier.
No! And I like this, dude, the squawk that he makes. I swear, is he saying fuck? Because it sounds like he's going fuck! Fuck!
I've heard a lot of people saying that. Maybe.
Maybe.
You can assume so. You can assume so.
Is that you making that sound?
No, I had another person, some person I met on Discord, on a Discord server. He did all the sounds for the bird. There was actually more sounds, but only one of them was added into the game as of right now.
Right. And did you meet him in your server when you were developing? How did you find him?
I was in a game development server, and I was just showing the game at the time, and it had no sound for the bird. The bird didn't make any sounds, but I wanted to have sound for the bird, and he offered to make sounds for it, and he sent me like a zip file with like several sounds of him just making noises,
Nice.
and I took one of them, and it sounds perfect almost. Yeah, it sounds really good. He's actually in the server. His name is Mr. Goober.
Nice. Is he credited?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you-
of course.
Did you have to sign any sort of release or anything?
No, he's just he did it for out of fun.
Game. Ah, fuck! Fuck! Okay.
See, this is like one of the.
What you're talking about, having spots that you kind of loop back around to. Uh-oh, am I going the wrong way here? I'm going the wrong way, aren't I?
Yeah, I think like I spent a lot of time on this first map, so this map, I think this map is a lot, in my opinion,
Tighter?
a lot better than the second map. But
Do you
the second
think-
map has its pros too, where it's more exciting. I think it's like there's a lot more things in the second map versus this one. This one is just like the introduction to all the chaos.
Do you think you'll make adjustments to the second map over time with updates? Or is it
yeah, for
kind of
sure.
mostly finalized?
I think some of the next updates is I'm going to like kind of utilize the space a bit better, especially at the beginning of the second map. Maybe something to make it longer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's too short, in my opinion. So I probably will adjust the terrain to make it feel and look bigger, even bigger than what it is now.
Boy. Oh. And are these mirrors oh my god. Shouldn't have been asking a question there. Are these mirrors like actual reflections, or are you rendering them separately, or?
Oh yeah, they're being rendered separately. They're actually in the engine. I should have showed it. It's a camera that's like pointing towards you.
Right.
And the mirror is just rendering whatever the camera is showing on the screen.
Okay. Neat little developer trick to kind of.
Yeah, it's usually how like
Uh,
mirrors work in
yeah.
games. Right.
Yeah, that's like old school game. Now you could theoretically do like full actual ray trace reflect.
Oh, yeah.
It's also gonna
Yeah,
be
like-
very demanding. That's why in games for fuck for a long time you would
Like reflection probes and
well, for a few years when games got more hi-fi, you know, you started seeing a lot of games that just didn't have reflections because it didn't look right, you know, and so they just have like pseudo-reflective surfaces. Shit. Oh shit. Oh, get your booty up there. I should have shifted earlier. Don't go back. Don't go back. Oh, God. I wish I fell the other way. Ugh.
see.
Very short. I'm very short. I am very short. 4'5", baby. No, wait. Did I not want to go? Okay. Did I fuck up going that way, dude? I'm back at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Ugh, was there another way to get up there?
This game is only one way up. Only one path you need to take. Actually, I mean, there's some moments where you can take two alternate paths, but I think just as long as you follow the road. Just one moment, please. Is it okay if I go run to the
Yeah, knock yourself out. Oh fuck! I'll be playing for a little bit longer. I kind of need to do the same, but I'm gonna keep doing this, baby. So go take a litter box break, baby. Ooh. Yeah, we're not getting 7 minutes, Dylan. Minutes insane. Bird, man. Oh my god, you fucking bird, dude. You're gonna be the end of me. Ugh. Oh no, we were going the right way. She sees the Gouda and all. Good old Gouda, baby. Pretty good at shifting gears. I can handle it. Gonna ignore that. You know what? We're not gonna ignore you. Shifting into second. We're getting you out of here. And getting our booty up this. Okay. Nice and easy. Shift into first. Yes. Smooth and easy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A professional, man. Get around this fucking bend. Get around this bend. Shift into second gear. We're making it up the hill. Oh, yeah. Switch up the music. Reppington, it's great, dude. It's really fun.
Back.
Welcome back. I hope you had a great litter box break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, fuck! Get out of here, but oh no, we needed the speed. We're distracted. Get out of here, buddy. Whew. See, I'm making good progress.
Yeah, you're doing really great.
I'm a professional driver, dude. How did you choose? What compelled you to put the fucking... God damn it! No, not reverse! No! Oh, dude, that was really close. What compelled you to put the fucking piece of shit bird in here?
Well, it's meant as like a way to distract the player from what's happening or where they need to get to.
I noticed you have
funny, like
an achievement
because you
for...
play as a. Oh yeah. The achievement. It's if you drive to the top with the bird still in your car, you get an achievement called "Bring Home a Friend."
Nate. And you were saying you thought it'd be funny to include a bird distracting a bird if...
Yeah.
Oh
I think it's funny
God.
that like you're like this anthropomorphic bird, but there's like a normal bird that like comes on your car. And you start to question like what kind of world are we in?
Like it. sometimes getting the right momentum is tough. Was it hard for you to like dial the physics in and shit?
Yeah, it was a pretty lengthy process of refining the driving. Back then, like when you would steer, your car would just flip over because of there wasn't that much like force being applied to the ground.
Oh.
And yeah, so like a lot of the vehicle physics, like that was what I spent the most time on, as well as just the mechanic of grabbing the wheel.
Son of yo, dude. Leave me alone, Burb. Birdie.
You're doing really good.
Yeah.
It's like almost like you played it before.
I did. I told you. Fuck. I played this stage. I haven't played the other stage, but I'll say it gets a. God damn it, dude. I spent a good while, dude. Last weekend, man, I just toked up, man, and fucking committed to this shit, dude. It was an experience. It was really fun getting a little high and just kind of, fuck me, getting into the whole environment, settling into, like, the game's a vibe. So it was, like, really fun, you know, listening to the music and just vibing out to it, accepting my fucking repeated failures, getting over, like, you know, the mindset it takes to kind of persevere, I think says a lot, you know, about the game, and kind of can teach you to also be, like, more patient with yourself. So, get him out of here! Leave me alone, you bird! I have severe ADHD, so God, the bird really irritates me. Famous last words, Jesus quit getting high and fuck. Damn it, that's what I said? Oh my God. You love the bird. You would, Dylan. What have other players you've seen commentary on the little bird thing?
Oh, yeah, everyone hates the bird.
Except for Villain, he
I think
says
so
love
far.
it, yeah. I'm curious what the achievement
love
ratings
bird.
on like people getting the one with getting to the top with the bird are. Need a
Well,
meme of the bird in
let's see.
place of Elmo
On
in the
Steam?
fire? Yeah, on Steam.
On Steam, it shows you a percentage of people. I think it's like 4.1 or something like that of players.
Yeah. So it's
Something
pretty
low.
rare.
Let's see. I'm gonna check right now.
Don't you do it. Don't you
it's-
do it.
It's 5.9 of all players percent. 5.9%. I'm surprised that like there's also like 1.9% of finishing this first map under 10 minutes.
7 minutes for this one. 10 minutes for the second.
Oh yeah, the second map I meant. Not the...
Ah!
You know, I still haven't beat this map in under 7 minutes. So
I mean, how did you add that achievement, dude? Shouldn't you playtest it first and see?
I had other people play it.
Oh, and you're like, okay, it's doable. Let's fucking add
Yeah,
it.
it's doable. Yeah, I had like several people at it, have played it, and so that's kind of how I kind of like estimated the time for it to take players.
Right. I heard, what is it, Local Thunk, like, finally 100%ed his own game, Dalitro, in what, like, took him like a year after release or something.
I didn't know
Dude,
about
this
that.
bridge fucked me up the first time. Get out of here, bird.
The thing about the controls is that the left mouse button is when you hold down, it's actually the accelerator.
Yeah.
So your car will push you forward. So if you interact with the radio or if you use the windshield wiper, your car will accelerate.
Yeah, it can fuck you up. It's kind of getting used to that sort of like dual action of it. Oh fuck! No! Okay, and now which direction? I don't even fucking know which direction. I'm going left. See, but that right there isn't too bad of a setback. There's very few places, like I was saying, there's very few places that it's frustrating, but it's not like, fuck you, Luke, you're the worst person ever. Setbacks,
Yeah, no.
you know? It's like, oh no, but not like, my life's over. Get him out. Oh, no. Okay. Shouldn't have got the bird. You know what, man? I spoke too soon. Fuck you, Luke. No, I'm just kidding. Whew. Out of my way, boulders. I don't care about you, bird. I don't care about you.
Yeah, I mean the birds are your friend. Until you bring it home.
No bad. Not my friend. Be nice to the bird. Okay, villain, I'll try. Oh man, okay, great. The whole chat says bird's friend. Like, with us being an anthropomorphic driving bird, the question is, you know, is there any potential for that bird to learn how to drive? You don't really got the body for it, but if you make a sequel, have tiny driving birds.
Just make like my own version of the backseat driver, but a tiny bird. But one person's the passenger.
What if other people...
Call it,
Huh?
call it front seat driver.
Yeah.
Passenger or something. I don't know.
The passenger driver.
Or, I don't know.
Or just keep changing the name of it. Anytime anyone refers to it, it's got a dozen names. What have other people's reactions to the boulders been?
I mean, I think majority of people don't really. You have to like fail at the boulder part. They'll like struggle. But it's not like that bad. Actually, there was one guy on YouTube who made a video and he got to the boulder part and he fell off the bridge and then noticed that he got back to the boulder part and he just rage quitted.
I mean, the boulders are really not that bad once you get used to them, but the first time I saw them, it was like a little, like, made me nervous, you know? And the first time I saw these bridges, like, the bridges...
Yeah, you can see sometimes you can see the bridge, like the foreshadow of the bridge.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen, like, from the distance. That's also something about, like, the design of the level. Is that it was fully intentional that you could see the bridge like from like all the way when like it was green, the green area.
Yeah.
And then you can also see it again like while you're driving up to the rocks, the boulders. So
Yeah, I think
So
you
the
did
bolt is like right below you.
or the jump. You know, you can see a sign for it before it's coming, and then like
Yeah.
you hit it. It still kind of caught me off guard, but like you did a good job, kind of like foreshadowing. You better not fall down, buddy. Thank you for the bonk, Dylan. What's up, Elzaz? It is Summit Drive, and we're chatting with the developer here right now.
Hello.
Ah! Okay. I'm not gonna fall this time. This is where I fell last time. Some of them, like, kinda, dude, you are nefarious for putting bridges, like, just as you're going up, so it's kinda hard to see exactly, but, come on. Hard to see exactly where they are. Time to change up the music. No. And this one, like how it drifts down, like sometimes I'm not sure if I'm totally lined up. The angling, man.
Yeah, it's also on snow. It's like kind of hard to steer, and I don't know if you noticed that. There's also like physics to like the surface that you're on.
I gotta catch my breath. Where are we going? To that murder hotel. You know it, man. The murder hotel at the top of the mountain. Oh, fuck. It's sea, man. Ah, fuck! No!
Oh my god.
Oh no! I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna do this over. Oh.
It's fine. I think you're back at like
The beginning of the snow area, but not all the way down. If I fell a little, oh, okay. This is not that bad.
another thing about good design of the level, making sure you don't fall all the way.
Yeah, but if you panic, there's a couple places that you can kind of fuck yourself and have way bigger falls. Like that spot I just fell there. You can.
I think. Now that you mentioned panicking, I just want to point out that like, so in a I don't know if you've drove manual shifting like car.
I have.
And so the gear shift is actually reversed, as like compared to like an actual car with a gear shift. It's reversed because to go up instead of down, and that's because I think like when it comes to like panicking, a lot of players they like to they use the first active motion usually is to drag their mouse upwards. And so when players panic, I wanted them to like accidentally change the gears sometimes.
Yup. I have experienced that. Whoa. Oh my god, dude. Rough terrain.
But you're doing really great.
Thanks, dude.
I mean, I know you played this map before, but it's still really good.
Uh-oh. I found the best thing you can do is just be a little patient.
Yeah, patience is key in this game. Also, you
Hey, dude, I didn't yell at you. You guys say yeah. Okay, maybe I did yell at you. I don't know, but it wasn't intentional. I'll say that. And Hunt Showdown's a really good game, and we should play more. You should play with villains. Have you played Hunt Showdown, Luke?
No, I've not, but I've heard of the game.
It's got some of the best sound design. Like the engine they made for handling the audio processing is really impressive. Basically giving you like surround sound with stereo audio. Pretty cool. Oh my god. What? We did
You
it!
made it.
Oh, I
Nice.
thought I had further to go. Oh my god. Dude, that took me over an hour the first time. The audio is top notch. I
Yeah, once
finally
you
made.
once you beat it first time, it's like night and day.
It wasn't 7 million. You're right, Dylan. I tried, man. I'm gonna have to keep trying. There's another map. I go for every day. This poor bird. What is the story of this bird? I need to know more. What does he do for work, Luke? 27 minutes. It definitely wasn't 7 minutes. 4 minutes? It wasn't. 4 minutes. It's me, your father, Joe. Oh, dude, I'll clean
Yeah,
up the litter box.
The highest score for I think right now the going home map, right now the fastest time is 4 minutes 13 seconds is the fastest time for going home.
For going home, and that one's the longer map, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
insane.
Wow. Dude, I can't fucking believe I beat it in half the time, but still, really, really, really tough, man. Really tough. Ooh, so I think this is a good point to kind of could you? Yeah, I didn't set the record, Ruppington. I didn't fucking set the record. This is a good time to start winding up. I got a couple of questions. I mean, my advice, I just gave for if anyone, a couple of y'all got the game today. My advice is be a little patient. Don't panic. Do you have any advice for people that are gonna be getting the game and playing it? Do you have any advice for people?
Um, just I think just I never really so the game doesn't have like a lot of when you like a lot of help for the controls of the game, and it's intentional because I want players to sort of uncover the controls on their own while they you start by clicking on the mouse and you're like, oh, I can drive, and then you start with like moving your hand across different things in the car and you're like, oh, I can use this. There are some players that like didn't know that the windshield wipers weren't a thing until they got like halfway through the map and were like, wait, this was a thing? And that's like the
Yeah,
sort of feeling I want players to have. So,
like
when you guys go,
self-discovery.
yeah, exactly. So when you play this game, it it's like you're learning to drive from the beginning. You're like, oh, this the cars nowadays have like a bunch of buttons and stuff, but like figuring out what parts of the car and like what this does, and then once you get the hang of it and once you learn it, it's like so much fun. I'd say.
Right, right.
And
It
that's
is
like that's
fun.
just based on that's just me just quoting on what other players have told me.
Cool. What did you now that you've like this is your first commercial, fully finished product? What did you learn actually, start to finish, finishing a game? Is there any points you'd like to touch on?
Um, yeah, I think like it's not like I wouldn't say it's like making a game, getting it out. It's like it's tedious. It is tedious. Like, it's a lot of like planning, a lot of thought that goes into it, and a lot of time that you have to, a lot of time I sacrificed. Like in my university, I didn't spend a lot of time with my friends, and I just sat in my room a lot of my time and just making games on my own by myself, just because I enjoyed it and because I just felt like I wanted to release something. Like, in schools, like it's hard to like find, like, release a game on your own while you're in university,
Right.
and you know you get distracted from your university work, and also like, but I never really wanted like the school assignment to be like that word to be attached to my game. And so if you look at a lot of like games coming from like USC games and like different bigger colleges, you work with like 20 students on one singular game for the entire
Right.
year or something like that. You have like, yeah, it's valuable learning teamwork, but also like releasing a game for a cost, for a price, is also something valuable. And understanding the limits and understanding like which I've had a lot of people tell me like, like I know the game right now is sitting at $8. I think it's like seven. That's I you know I think that's for the kind of experience I want players to have is they come in and they can take a break, they come back the next day, that kind of feeling. And I've told people told me that I should lower the price to like $2,
Mm.
$3, $4. Um, but no, I wanted to stand firm, and I thought, and I think I made a good decision. Seems like people really enjoy the game,
Yeah, the
so
people that
that's why
play
I was
it like
surprised.
it.
Like, yeah, like a lot of games on Steam don't really even reach a certain amount, um, in terms of like how many downloads, how many times people buy it. So I'm happy, and I'm uh I'm thankful to all the players that got the game,
It's
and all
great.
the streamers, all the YouTubers. I'm thankful.
Yeah.
It was a
Is there
learning experience.
for sure? Is there anything you think you would tell your? Oh wait, real quick, Halzaz wanted to ask a question. What did you design your models in? Were you using like 3ds Max, Maya, Blender?
So I use Blender, but the models are free assets off the Unity asset store. But I brought into Blender. Some of them I brought into Blender, and I did some like did some tweaking.
Nice.
Um,
And
but
Halzaz was
this
asking. Oh, sorry. What?
oh, but like some of the other assets are, it's a blend between some pixel art that I did in Sprite. And so a lot of the pixel art, actually I think all the pixel art is all done in Sprite. And so some a technique that I used in Summit Drive is that, like, if you notice, like, some of the textures, they are pixelated. Those textures were actually like very bit large. And what I did is I brought it into Sprite and I lowered the resolution until it's like pixels, and then I
Oh,
like sort of adjust the color a little bit, and that's sort of what how I got the texture to come out in Summit Drive.
very
So
cool.
like taking big pictures and just scaling it down to pixels.
Neat. Yeah, it looks like Halzaz uses Blender and Sprite as well. And he was asking if you had experience in video game making before, which we covered. Yeah, this is his first commercial release. He finished school, what you said, last year, right?
Yeah, yeah, in May.
And Ruppington, we did cover the music. If you want to go back and check out the VOD on YouTube later, did ya? Did ya? You know it, buddy. But I was curious if you have any advice, now that you've got this behind you, if you could go back and talk to yourself, before starting this whole project, if there's anything, you know, you'd have told yourself before starting this.
I think I think it's documenting your work is something important, and also carrying around the. I learned this from my friend, actually, who I'm now working on my next game with. We he would hold like he would have like a small notebook wherever he goes, and like will write down every single thing every converse, or some notes of people, like things to remember while he's talking with people, or while he has an idea, or anything. And even in games, when he has a game
Cool.
idea, he has like a small notebook, he writes it down. And I learned that from him, and so I carry around a small notebook wherever I go, whoever I
Nice.
talk with, anything games related, anything plans, I write it down. But documenting your work is probably the best advice I could give. Like especially like when I was building Summit Drive, like having a document, it doesn't mean having a like a design document like before you even start the game.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about.
We
I'm talking
talked
about
about
like
that. You didn't even do that for this game, right? So
yeah, I'm talking like as you're developing the game, uh documenting like what you did is like a journal almost. Pretty much like journal. Like journaling every single step of the way is very valuable and I wish I had done that for every small project that I did in the past because it
right.
really helps with like once you finish a game and then you look at that document, you start to like think better and more and it helps you like plan out. It helps you like be a better developer when you start your next game.
Very cool. So you're talking about you and your friend working on the next project. I noticed you had linked something on one of your pages called Our Light Beneath. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh no, that's another game. That was actually a game I was working on before Summit Drive during my university and it was something to help
Oh,
me with my portfolio. And it was also my first pixel art game. So like that game was where I kind of learned to make pixel art on my own.
did that finish and
And
release, or is it just a
no, it's
canceled project or on the back burner?
yeah, it's just a lost project. I think occasionally I'll be in like the Discord server on your I'll probably be in your Discord server occasionally and I'll stream what it looks like
That would be
the
awesome. I'm
the
sure a lot of
but
people would like that. Well, what is
but
your
it's
next
not
game
the
though? Then, if it's
my
not Our
next
Light
game.
Beneath.
Yeah, it's gonna be called well we're still finalizing the name of the game, but it's gonna
Okay.
be called it's gonna be called Homescure. It's like a combined word between home and obscure.
Oh,
Um,
it's kind of neat.
and it's right now it's like kind of settled as like the pitch as for the pitch of the game and pull it up. It's on yeah, it's gonna be like it's a first person it's a surreal first person adventure where you drive a small subway car and explore to find your home in a dystopian town that's run by like this cryptic program. So that's like the pitch.
Whoa.
That's a long description of the game,
No,
but
that
that's
sounds
like kind of
really
what we're.
interesting. I'm definitely curious. I'll keep an eye on your work. I will be posting up, you've posted in my server, and I'll be posting details up on YouTube, where to find Summit Drive, the store, Steam page, or if people want to, HIO. And if you want to send me links to anything that you want to share, I'll have that posted up in the YouTube video description for people to check out more of your work. So,
Sweet, sweet. So if you're into like driving a train in the snowy apocalyptic weather, then yeah, sure. Like I think this might be for you. That's like sort of the vibe. If you're into like um Easy Delivery Co, Psychopomp, it's gonna be a mixture of that. So
you say Psychopomp?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's such a weird game, dude. It's pretty interesting though, but neat. Okay, that sounds really cool. Well, I really want to thank you, Luke, so much for joining us today. That was a super fun stream. I really appreciate all the insight into it. Thank you for being so generous with your time and, giving out keys to your game. I hope we can stay in touch. I look forward to seeing what else you have in the future with this upcoming game. And is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we wrap up the call?
No, I mean, thank you so much for having me, and thank you guys so much for watching as well on the chat. Um, yeah, I mean, like if I have any, I probably will be showing a lot of like the background of my next game, like on all my socials. So also feel free to join the Discord, my Discord server, where I'll
Yeah.
be like, I'm very transparent with what I do. So I like to show like everyone like what I'm doing next, and
Hell yeah.
you know, I'll probably show like literally the gray box of my next game, like what it's gonna look like, and
Cool.
yeah.
Villain says, thank you for sharing, and also thank you for the bird that annoys me. So he just appreciates seeing me lose my mind over that bird. So much love. We'll keep in touch. I'll touch base with you soon, later today or over the weekend about any info to share. But thanks again, man. Much love. Keep up the good work, dude.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yup,
All right, see you guys.
Later. What an absolute pleasure that was, you guys. That was a really fun stream. Yeah. And he's in our server. If you want to reach out to him and share thoughts on the game, he's a really sweet guy. He loves to talk about it. And if y'all want to get Zulettes, that shit is ready to be redeemed. The last redeem of the stream.
I seriously have no idea.
100% is Ruppington. And we are going to raid out to someone else and spread that community love, baby. Let's go show some love to Ginger. She's been in here a lot recently, so let's spread that love to Ginger. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you. You guys is the best. Keep on keeping on and stay sexy. Over and out, Girl Scout.